There's some stuff yet still to be granted, but you're well on your way to the completion and the return to the Feywild to see it done, to see this war brought to an end. And that is where we pick up today. So, you'll pick yourselves up off the ground, dust yourselves off, and may proceed as you see fit. The Grand Mage re-enters the room, having been summoned by various servants watching over you. She looks at you all and says, "Very well then. You have all you need. You witness what you require to witness."
I believe so.
And yet you still wish to see it done?
I think we can do it.
I mean, not like that.
Yeah, we would very much like it to be better than that.
That's
I think we've identified have the same sentiments.
I think we've identified a few small improvements that we could make, and history does have a tendency to repeat itself, but things can also be learned from experience.
Well, all I can say is good luck. There are many planes that will be influenced soon enough, I am sure. So, goodwill to you, and I hope you get out of this what you hope to. Truly. Well, very well. I see perhaps it is time you were on your way then.
The Mordenkainen is with us?
Yeah, he's like pulling himself up.
Yep. So I guess I'll direct it towards him and say, "Do you believe we have what we need?"
Perhaps. I don't imagine it would hurt to go find this tree of souls that the gods seem to insinuate should be something that we should know.
That's here on this island, is it not?
Yeah, do you guys know what the Tree of Souls is or where we can find it?
The Grand Mage looks at you and says, "The Tree of Souls? You witnessed the Tree of Souls?"
We witnessed
yes.
Someone speaking about it, yeah.
Very well. Well, if you believe it's important, indeed, the Tree of Souls lies here on Evermeet. I suppose it makes sense that you would wish to see it. Yes, let me just tell you. There it is. She'll like take out your map and mark it on the map, and she's going to essentially say, it is on a beach that is some ways to the west of the island. It is a mythical place, difficult to find. It is a tree of green and gold leaves with a white stem. It cannot be missed, but it is a mythical thing that very few happen upon.
Okay. Beach. Tree. Got it.
Very well. Let us see our guests out. Let us see them out in good grace. And you guys will be escorted out of the palace. Door sort of. She will say, "Did you? She'll ensure that like various rangers are made available to you if you require them." She says it's no more than a day's ride. Very well. And they will see that, yeah, like some rangers are made available to you for the voyage. And you guys can begin to proceed in that direction. If you so choose. Is there anything else you'd like to do here in the capital of Evermeet? Luthospar.
I don't have anything to do in the camp, but forgive me, Trixie. I've never paid a lot of attention to the natural magics. You've seen this tree before. Are you able to take us directly to that tree?
I mean, I don't know if it would be weird to transport via plants through that tree. Were there any trees beside the tree when we saw it? I mean, we did it with the elder tree. He didn't seem to love it, but we did it, so.
This ritual was conducted 20,000 years ago.
Yeah, so. So the other trees around.
It's anyone's guess if the other trees that were around are still indeed around.
We could try it.
You could always try. Doesn't hurt.
We just gotta find a tree outside that's big enough for us and give it a go.
Yeah, there's no shortage of big enough trees outside of the palace here. We're more than welcome to think of some of those trees that were nearby and try and make your way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
All right.
I was literally thinking of like scrying on the tree to see another tree, but I'm like, I don't have scrying prepared today. But yeah, let's just
walk through it.
Let's just go for it.
The worst thing gonna happen.
We kill
you cast your magic on this tree to create a magical link between the tree here and the tree there. And you sort of pull the tree apart and open it, and it does indeed seem that you managed to create a tether between that and you remember this like one tree that was like a little stem guy, and you're like, that would never work, but it's been 20,000 years, maybe that's grown. And it seems to work. It seems that the tree you pick is the right one.
Everybody, quick.
Come along, children.
I'll run through, I assume.
Yeah, okay. You guys can all run through. I'm still so bummed that my ritual board is just empty, which is crazy for me. Okie dokie then. You guys are going to come to where you mean to go. Let's see from a forest fire. That's the elder tree. It's fine. We'll use the elder tree board. It's similar. So bright. Okay, let me just. Oh, God, that's so bright. You portal through the tree that you meant to portal through. And as you walk out the other side, you find yourself in a vast forest. Yeah, we're just gonna make it. Ooh, that sucks. That also sucks. Come on, need some bigger trees. Okay, whatever, it's fine. I kind of like that. There we go. Yes, you find yourself in a vast forest of strange trees, otherworldly trees. And very simply, you just kind of pop out exactly where you need to be because you saw it a moment ago. And as you do so, you do find that there is this, as described, it has changed much. Actually, amongst the trees here, it's the only thing that remains familiar and similar. It remains exactly the way that you saw it in the vision. You see this tree of green and golden leaves with a white stem. A gorgeous, gorgeous tree that sits amongst other much larger trees. And there is also a single figure sitting amongst the trees as well. She kind of leans against a further tree farther off. And you recognize her to be none other than the central and only sole survivor of the previous ritual, the caster Starleaf. And she has not noticed you yet, but she just kind of sits about and plays on a little roughly carved wooden flute. What would you all do? Nice. She's like, and you pull this like, she's gonna, by Cordovan. She like rises, and she says, "Who are all of you? Welcome."
Thank you. We're the Knights of the Scorched Earth, and
Oh no,
if you can spare a few, oh no, do you know that name?
are you here to scorch the earth? She kind of
Oh,
like steps closer to the tree.
in this particular instance, we're not. Hopefully, but we do have perhaps a bit of an alarming tale to tell. However, I think it may be one that's useful for you to hear.
Okay, very well. Please speak your legend.
And I will, in order to edit it down, I'll just basically tell her that we are attempting. Maybe I don't open with that, but we are attempting another sundering. But our intention is to actually let me start that over again. I'm going to say, all right, I'll actually say it. We know who you are, and we know that you were the one responsible for creating this land. It is we have actually have the privilege of seeing what transpired at that time, and we do accept it with the most appropriate gravity and concern. However, the land from which we come, homes a home to perhaps millions of souls, is in absolutely cataclysmic danger, and the only and the best way that a number of minds have been able to decide that we can stop what would essentially be utter annihilation from occurring is to attempt to perform a sundering of our own. In this case, perhaps in the reverse direction, we will be trying to separate a piece of our world and send it adrift so that we remain a safe distance from it.
You wish to sunder your world, is what I'm hearing. It's what you've described, yes?
Yes, I'm afraid so. It's not an undertaking that we take lightly. It's not something that we do for individual gain. In fact, I believe a number of us here have indicated, that we are willing to sacrifice our own lives if it means the safety of perhaps tens or hundreds of thousands of people. But unfortunately, these are dire circumstances that we face, and it's the best solution we've been able to arrive at thus far.
Well, I was told some would be coming, and that the time was arriving where the knowledge of the tree would need to be passed on. I am but its guardian. I don't get to decide who will partake of its knowledge and who not. All I would advise is caution. I'm sure you have seen the power of ambition, for better or worse. And would bid you understand that this tree indeed holds within it immense power, immense knowledge from my peers. One of you will have to take this knowledge unto themselves. It will change you. It will give you more than just the knowledge of the Sundering. It will teach you of the ways of the ancient elves, knowledge lost to all time. From the very souls of the elven realm, parts of our culture, parts of our history that were lost for I think it's been some 20,000 years now, thereabouts. It is a thing of great power, and the knowledge you'd undertake is the knowledge of the most advanced, arcane, primal, divine. It is from these that you would gain this knowledge. One of you must take upon this knowledge unto themselves, the responsibility of that knowledge, and it will change you forever.
I volunteer.
I
Of
was just
course
going to
you can.
ask, do we choose or does the tree choose? But
You may choose. It is to me to open its power to whoever would undertake it, but again, I must warn. Experience, knowledge, histories, arcana, all of this knowledge will be imparted upon one of you in an instant. You will not be the same person who stands here now as they will be after. It'll be as if you have aged some, well, all of the years of each of the elves whose souls lies within this tree combined in one moment. All of that knowledge in a single instant.
Are there any side effects to this massive wealth of knowledge entering one's mind?
It could break the mind if it's not strong enough. And as I said, you will not be the same person afterward. The person you are now will be gone forever. The person you'll become is the culmination of you and all the various souls within these trees into one being. You will not recognize yourself after.
Would it be all right to ask you a couple of questions to help inform us in making our choice?
By all means.
Do you think it would make a significant difference whether or not the person was elven?
I have no doubt that one who understands the Orsal Telquest, which is essentially means the great art of the people, which is a reference to elven high magics. So those who have a pre-understanding of great magic, those who indeed have knowledge of the great peoples of the elves, these things, of course, will help. Those who have power of the mind instead of the body. Those who have a great will.
My second question was, do you think it makes a significant difference the type of magic with which this person is most comfortable, most in tune, most familiar?
I would expect not. I have not undergone the process myself, but I am quite knowledgeable in the arcane and can say I don't imagine it is the skills of the one who will undertake it, but more the mind of the one who will undertake it. They could very well destroy that person forever if they're not careful. If it's just the wrong person, I would not recommend someone with weak mind.
After someone undertakes this process, what happens to the tree?
The tree will live on, but its souls, the ones that have been trapped within it for 20,000 years, they will be free to return to Lavandon, and thus reincarnate back into the great cycle of the elven people. They will be freed from the tree, their penance paid, their knowledge passed on, as it was intended by the gods.
I assume that is against the wishes of the people who made Evermeet in the first place, no?
Those who wished to create Evermeet did not intend for a great many things to happen.
Indeed.
They intended... what do they say? The road to the hells is paved with good intentions. Something like that, I think is the best way to describe what happens. It sounds like you already have knowledge of what happens, anyway.
Indeed. You, esteemed lady, have seen quite a bit.
Perhaps.
I think Nithruel is the best choice because you're also the one that is most eager to do this ceremony thing. And with all of these memories and souls and such, you might get a different perspective and a bit of caution towards it. And that might turn you into the greatest person.
Oh. Well, I was going to suggest you, Trixie. You being one of the strongest of wills. Yes.
I will do it. But I do like who I am.
Going to recommend. I was also going to suggest Trixie. Because she is an elf. And this is her heritage.
Well, what do you think? What do you think?
Who are you talking to?
You.
I can't tell.
Oh, sorry. It's like we're talking on a screen
I know,
or something.
it's like you're talking to the same, looking at the same person all over. I mean, I will do it. That was my thinking, but.
So the question is, how much do you value yourself?
Again, I'm willing to do it for the greater good of everybody.
Perhaps we should put it to a vote.
Mordenkainen is like, this is the biggest magical circle jerk I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want it?
No, I don't fucking want it. I am Mordenkainen, the great Mark Mage. I will not forget that. I'll change that for anything. Get a bunch of elves in my brain. Yeah, right.
I didn't think you'd want it. That's why I didn't offer it to you.
No, I don't want it. It'd just be nice if someone made up their fucking mind. We got stuff plain asunder. I'm excited, antsy, and a little hungry.
Give us a minute. We'll get you some food, then we'll go sundering.
Cool. Very cool.
So apparently we have 2 votes for Trixie.
If it's all the same, I don't feel qualified to vote. I'd instead defer to the individuals themselves for how prepared they feel.
Alagarthus, I think, will say, Tamlin, you're probably one of the few people in all of existence who's qualified to make a vote. You understand what this is and its impact more than perhaps any other. The people in this very grove might be the only ones qualified.
Yeah, actually, I think people that know us the least might be the best to choose because, it's less personal. So, Mordenkainen, I think you should vote too. Everybody here should vote.
Yes, that is not how a good democracy is run, from what I'm told.
Like you would know, about government?
I've heard a thing or two.
Right. Who here is very proficient in saving throw, or just their willpower? Who here has a great will? Let's see. I know druids to have great will. Yes, fine. Trixie as well.
I will admit that the reason I asked the two questions that I asked was because I thought that it sounded to me like Trixie might be the most natural choice.
Yeah,
Sounds
Fine.
like Trixie.
my brain says Trixie, but my heart, in my heart, I don't want to see her change.
Like Arthur says, nor I.
The change doesn't have to be bad. She may become something absolutely otherworldly and tremendous.
But she will not be our Trixie.
Starleaf will
Meh.
say.
Who needs it?
Starleaf will say, some 100 elven wizards and bards, calligraphers, druids, clerics all took part in this ritual, and each and every one of them several centuries in age, the best what they did. I think what you are now would be but the smallest sliver of what you've become. Would be the tiniest fraction compared to the wealth of age that each and every one of them possessed.
I think
But in-
that's voted.
Yeah. In theory, even that small percentage of you would still be there. But if we do not want to risk a very good-hearted person, that is Trixie, I could take this mantle.
Not with the book. Choose.
I was actually thinking the same thing as you said, good hearts, and I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with the idea of mixing the power of the tree with the power
I'm going to be
of...
honest with you, Nithroel. You have been deceitful and your behavior has been erratic. I do not trust you in this if you have the book. My vote is firmly for Trixie unless you give up the book. Give up the book, I would change my vote.
And you have every right to your opinion. I will have everyone know that I have full control over the book and its knowledge.
Cool. Trixie.
Yeah.
I don't envy you this, and I'm sorry.
So do we just
Perhaps...
want to go down the line and everybody put in their votes?
Sure.
Mordenkainen will say, all in favor for Trisuin, say aye.
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 Genesis, what do you think?
You can't make him
Aye.
answer something. It has to be his own choice.
Genesis, choose between what Trixie or I to take this mantle of knowledge from the elves.
It must be you or Trisuin.
Do you have another suggestion?
Do you?
No, not really. I'm just kind of bitter, honestly.
It's just being difficult.
Oh, I understand.
Aye.
Algarthus will reluctantly say, I as well.
It is
Starleaf.
unanimous.
Okay.
Starleaf will, there we go. Starleaf will say, then there it is. Trisuin, please, step forward.
Approach the tree, I suppose.
You approach the tree. With your residual connection to nature, you can like feel the power coming from this tree. And Starleaf will look at you and say, there's no turning back from this. If you touch this tree, you will be Trisuin no longer. Are you prepared to make that sacrifice?
I am.
Then she'll just step back and let you go into her pace. You feel the great power of this oak tree, this silver white bark oak tree with green and gold leaves. You can almost feel the life sort of bound up in its leaves. This is a thing of great power that you stand before, a thing created by the gods themselves. You touch the tree.
I kind of do a little look back at everybody. Just take a moment, and then I'll touch the tree.
You touch the tree.
I can't
To
look.
your surprise. Yep, go ahead, Brock.
I can't look.
Algarthus and Brock are just like in the background hugging each other crying. As you touch the tree, you are met with a surprising feeling first. Love. You feel this incredible sort of just like permeate up from within your chest, this warmth of love for every single soul bound up in this tree. Indeed, some 100 souls, and you just feel this love and this recognition for every single soul that lay within. And as you sort of focus on that feeling, you feel the presence of their true names, one after the other. You feel each of them, each individual person. And more than that, as you sort of recount all of their names, as the knowledge just kind of fills you with their names, then so does too beginning their lives, their births, their deaths, their past lives that they know, their magic, their skill, their experience, their hopes, their dreams, their loves, their heartbreaks. And it's not a like crazy, like brain melting power that you sense, but it is very slowly, like a car slowly accelerating up to its full speed, taking its due time to do so. Slowly but surely, all this knowledge begins to flow into you, and it starts with their names, what their faces might have looked like, what their dreams and hopes were. And you sense that amongst all of these lives, all of these souls, there were not many bad people. None even. These were all elves of great reputation. Some of them perhaps indeed a little callous, a little power hungry, but each one had a great love for the elven people, and each one had a great pride for their skill, and indeed an arrogance, but not an evil. You are welled through and filled with that, and as the car of the vehicle of knowledge begins to accelerate, and you're filled with, very much at this point, almost like you're being filled like all of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, the cumulative 1,000 years of knowledge just starting to like be downloaded into your brain at top speed after a while. And arcane books, tomes, everything they've ever read, everything they've ever saw, all their preparations for the final ritual, all begin to flow through you at astonishing rates. And then then the first sundering knowledge begins to flow through you. Each one painstakingly prepared for several years, reading tomes and books, flow into you, and that which is Trisuin within you begins to sort of be crushed under the weight of the ocean that is the years of knowledge and magic of these people. I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw to see if your mind is destroyed in the process.
Okay. 16 plus 14.
30.
That's 30. That was the DC.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
Maybe it is a good thing that I did this. I don't know what your modifier
So
is.
like
Not
let's
that.
wow.
Not
So I'll tell you-
that.
let me put it this way. So this was like 100 different elves, and let's be incredibly generous and say that each one was 300 years old, and that would probably be a minimum. That's 30,000 years of life experience. Probably like double that flow into your brain in under a minute. So, yeah, this is a big one. But you managed to succeed. There are mechanical benefits. Your intelligence score immediately goes to 20. And you are of expertise in all intelligence-based skills.
Wow.
I was so dumb before, guys.
But now I am so smart. Yeah. More than that, Trixie, and this is up to you to role play as you wish. But yes, imagine probably double that. Imagine you are now all of these lives. You are 101 different elven mages of 300 plus years of knowledge all at once. At this point, you are like a Galadriel-esque figure within your mind. You have a knowledge unmatched by any mortal being and many immortal beings. You are the cumulative knowledge of the greatest mages of all elven history. And in this moment, you change, and you are Trisuin no longer. You are something else, something of great experience and great mental will. And it's for you to decide how to play that. And that's kind of a ball I've dropped on you a little bit here, for sure. So I will simply start by describing what all of you see outside of Trisuin's experience. You see, as Trixie touches the tree, all of those golden leaves on the tree begin to twinkle with light as if the sun was catching them just perfectly. And then the bark of the white tree begins to glow itself like a shroud of moonlight. And all of the gold and all of the silver sort of begin to sort of flood down the tree almost like a heartbeat, sort of well and well. And those golden leaves sort of like begin to lose their sheen as the great white oak, sort of all that power becoming to the center of where her hand is pressed on the tree. And then you see sort of, just like in the vision that you had earlier before, sort of parting off and out of the leaves, almost released like fireflies coming out of a tree in the middle of the night. You see these little tiny orbs of blue begin to appear out of the tree and sort of circle around it gently and be still very much like fireflies, little torch bugs. And they kind of, they don't dissipate, but they kind of flood outward in a plume, vanishing. The tree itself wilts. Its great branches fall, and all the green leaves fall down and around Trixie. Some of them maybe even adding to her mantle of fallen leaves. And the white bark of the tree sort of twists on itself like some gnarled thing. It is still beautiful in its way, but the great magic of this artifact, indeed a magic item artifact, are spent. They have flooded into the one the gods foretold and chose long, long ago to receive this knowledge. Fate has been written. And as the tree comes to an end and all of its plethora of arcane power has flooded into you, Trixie, a hand is removed from the tree. What would you do, Trixie? What do you say? What do you feel? What do you think? What is happening?
I think right now she's just in her head, and she's just got all these somewhat voices talking to each other maybe for a little bit until it like starts like acclimating. So like you just see her kind of like maybe looking at her hands and not really doing anything at first.
Fair enough. Absolutely. You all see this. There was no like Trixie wasn't being like electrocuted on the tree or anything like that. She was just like had her hand there and kind of almost like looked up maybe, and then sort of as now you see her standing before the tree, like looking at her hands, almost foreign like, and probably they are Trixie, as you are all of these souls melded into one personality and individual. You probably feel a little bit of a dysphoria in this moment that you're not, you're in someone else's skin almost, maybe.
Yeah, so she'll just slowly turns to looking at her hands and she'll kind of look up to all of you, and she definitely looks at you like she doesn't quite know all of you a little bit. Like she knows you, but she doesn't really know you.
Her eyes, I would say, are different. The way she looks at you. There's
I
just
have those
something
weird
more-
eyes that change colors with my mood, so maybe they're just fucking going crazy.
Maybe they just fucking going. Maybe they just kind of like they're like a fucking Windows screensaver up in there, man. They're just changing a little bit and whatnot. I'll tell you what, actually, Trixie, and you tell me if you like this or not. You guys met that old elf in the village who literally had like starry eyes, and that is the symbol of an elf who's nearing their end. Now, you are not nearing your end, but you have melded with fallen souls before. Maybe that's something that's happening. Maybe your eyes are filled with starlight now.
Sounds cool to me.
Cool. In this moment, you see her eyes, the green eyes of Trixie sort of begin to glow and sort of become luminescent, as if there are universes within her eyes, plethoras of stars. And if you were to look very closely, you might even see one shooting across, or the small spiral of an entire solar system. It's as if Trixie could see the entire universe within her eyes. Tenesis, the Empyrean, will bend the knee before you, and he'll like fall to a knee in sort of reverence of you, and pay due respect to what you've become.
Are you still in there, Trixie?
She's still here.
Who am I speaking to now?
It's a difficult question to answer. We do feel a little nauseous, though.
Then I suppose we should make our way.
Yes. I don't know how to fucking play this.
That's okay. and that is fitting for what is going on right now. Yes, Vivian.
Tennyson's still on his knees?
Not as he's got like one knee. He's pulling the Legolas.
That's all I needed.
Gandalf away. Yeah.
Fuck. Vivian is going to take her sword and cast an 8th level counterspell on the planar binding.
Do you mean to dispel magic?
Or dispel magic, yeah.
Counterspell.
Roll me a intelligence check, Nithroyo. Well, actually, we need to do a couple things. Vivian, I do need you to make me a wisdom check, because I believe Nithroyo had cast the spell at the 9th level.
Yeah.
To entirely bind him.
Mm-hmm.
So I do need one from you, Vivian.
Year and
DC
a day.
19.
So I need an intel. Okay, it was not a 19.
I need a wisdom check because you're a wisdom. Or what kind of caster are you? What cast?
I'm a
What's your
charisma caster.
Oh, charisma. My apologies. I need a charisma check. DC 19.
That makes it. It was a 17 on the dice, and it's a +5. 22.
22. Okay, now Nithroel, I need you to make me a DC 18 intelligence check.
DC 18 intelligence check.
That's right.
And no proficiencies, right?
Right? Just a baseline intelligence check.
That'll be inspiration. Fuck that shit.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I mean, I have inspiration too.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you can't re-roll
you already
now.
succeeded. You already succeeded.
Fucker. That was worse.
Okay. In this moment, magic. Vivian unleashes this humongous wave of magical power at your Empyrean thrall. And Nithroel, you send a wave of like cutting magic to try and destroy that like line of magic. As it hits the side of it, like a razor blade, it hits the side and tries to like break the abjuration, but it shatters through your counterspell. And you go, it's impossible! As the spell magic hits the Empyrean, and that mark of your symbol sort of shatters across his chest, and he and in this moment, he stands upright and he looks at all of you. Definitely his eyes locked on Nithroel, but he turns his eyes to you, Vivian. And he will say, I owe you the greatest of graces for my freedom. And your words have meant much.
If my lady dies because of this.
My father is the god of honor and duty. I have been given the duty to be rid this world of evil, to be rid of a very specific evil. But I have heard, and though I do not like anything, I acknowledge your plight. I will bargain. My father sent me to obtain this evil grimoire, and I will have it. And that can either be done now through force and eternal enmity for one another, or I help you save your lands, your Feywild, and you give it to me in good faith once all has come to rest.
I'm afraid I can't make that bargain one way or the other. But Vivian completely steps aside.
It is all of you. Every single person who stands here. It is for them to decide what happens next. For all of you have a duty, have a responsibility for the greater good of the world. You can choose to ignore that duty, or you can choose to acknowledge it. You are trying to save your world. I am trying to save this one.
So far, I've found him to be quite an honorable being. I vote that we take advantage of his assistance and give him what he wants when we're finished.
if I recall, all of the best above the table, they're not best harmonies. All of the harmonies had to be given away afterwards anyway. I do not remember if the book was like that, but if it was, that seemed the smarter thing.
I don't think it was the harmonies had to be given away. It was that they would make us go crazy if we held on to them for too long.
Yeah, we can't continue to wield them.
Artifacts are meant to be wielded by gods, as like gods and immortal and extraplanar beings. So as mortals, yes, they would begin to. You will, as many of you have experienced, like negative detriments. Those will begin to compound the more you hold on to them.
My book has none of those disadvantages.
Your behavior has changed radically since you've held the book. So either this is who you've been the entire time, or it does have those disadvantages. In either case, he makes a good point, but I'm not the one who can actually physically give him the book, and that's sort of what I was saying. Ultimately, I think he has to deal with you.
Yes, I suppose so, Vivian.
Then what shall it be, slaver, wielder of dark magics, demonmancer, conjurer of evil? What will it be? Shall there be eternal enmity between you and mine? That one day you will find you have fewer friends, and one day it will be my hammer that splits your skull and takes it from you. You have committed foul treasons upon my freedoms. I have no shame in taking yours. Or will you make right what you have become? How much is your Feywild worth to you?
You want this. This was given to me by a woman of great power. She chose me to take it from her. Her being wiser and greater than I, so that I could gain the power that I have never had a day in my life. My miserable excuse for an existence. And you mean to just take it? Because your father said so.
Because it is what's right. I see your pain. I see. But you do not understand. You are powerful with or without that tone. And your ability to let it go, to put your lust for power aside for the greater good, makes you more powerful than any magic. Goodness, duty, honor, and the right way has far more strength to it than any arcana.
She'll walk over, to the massive figure, book in hand. And she'll place it at his feet. And she'll look up at him. Goodness didn't feed my starving belly when I was a girl. And then she'll turn around, leave the book, and walk away from the party.
He will take the Demonomicron of Igwilv from the ground. And he will say, I shall return to Torm. And I shall return. Know that Mount Celestial will stand with you. And he will raise his hammer to the sky, and there will be a flash of light from the heavens themselves, and Tenesis will vanish. Your attunement ends.
And Nithro is just walking away. Like, just continuing to walk away? Trixie would totally follow you, but this new Trixie doesn't care. Sorry.
Vivian's gonna look at everyone else. I've been collared. I'd have killed him. I'd have gladly killed him. She used me to call him. I just couldn't. I'm sorry. And Vivian will walk off.
So I was like, wait, this is a very dangerous wood. We really should stick together. No, I can't. So yeah. In fact, actually, off in the corner, she sort of looks at those of you who remain and says, actually, she'll look at really Trixie. And Trixie, you probably look at her with new eyes. You probably look at her through the lens of each and every one of those 100 individuals respected her and her word. And you know in this moment that she was the one who made the first sundering possible in every sense of the word. She gathered the mages. She made the alliances. She was the major piece of the puzzle for the ritual. She was the most powerful of all the casters in many ways. And she sort of bows low to you and says the elven goodbye. She says, Dareth Shiro, my friends. And she will turn to the wood, to the beach actually, and she'll sort of walk towards the beach. And you'll see as she does, much like falling leaves, her skin, little large flakes of that will begin to fall off. Her form will sort of wither in a very, I'm forgetting her name, but the red lady from Game of Thrones, when she like walks into the tundra and kind of starts to fall apart, wither and die. Very similarly, whatever immortality has been granted to Starleaf by the tree that is now gone, wilts away at her mortal form. And she sort of, at the edge of the beach where she met the gods themselves, she sort of falls to her knees and looks out long across the ocean where the shoreline cannot be seen. And her body just shrivels and wilts and disintegrates and sort of disappears in the sunlight, dust in the wind.
I'll walk over to what is remaining of the party.
I'll as you walk forward, I'll walk in front of you and try and, for one last try, to see any recognition in your eye. And seeing as I'm not getting that, I'll walk past you. And I'm gonna punch this tree.
You punch this tree, Rock, with a mighty fist, and your barbarian strength will be more than comparable to this tree, for it is withered, and what remains of this ancient tree created by the gods sunders and falls to the ground.
You'll notice on my face I've got kind of like a grin now, and I'll just say, we seem to have quite a bit of affection for you. That must be from the one you know as Trixie.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that.
She is still here. It's just a smaller part now.
We should be going.
What of the other two that walked away? Should we be getting them?
Mordenkainen's like, I just want to do the first sundering, okay? This is can they walk in separate directions when we get to the Feywild? Hey! And he starts like calling he'll start message cantripping and all like Nithroil Vivian because I get we're being dramatic and very hurt right now, but can we do this later?
Neither of them had harmonies. They can come if they wish.
Ooh, very cold. I like it. Let's do this. Let's go back.
Vivian, like as soon as she hears it, she turns around. She's fine. She's fine. It's business. We got it.
Absolutely.
We're fine.
Got it. Yeah, you come on back. Would Nithroil gather?
No.
No. Nithroil walks into the wood. Well put out there is one of, I believe, the central individuals to the party who possesses knowledge of the, Mordenkainen knows much, but so does Alligar. This is fucking gone again. But yeah, Mordenkainen knew much, but it was between Mordenkainen and Nithroil who had an exceptional knowledge basis. But perhaps Trixie at this point might have a much more first-hand comprehensible knowledge of what happened.
Also, I'm pretty sure Nithroil has teleported and plane shifted, and when they're ready to go back, I'm pretty sure that they can get back on their own terms. I mean, not to sound cowardly, they need a moment. Like I'm confident they can get back.
Fair enough. With that, you all gather. Does anyone have plane shifts? Who is
not today?
Yes, Vivian, you do.
Vivian is going to take her sword that she knows can now separate direct dimensions into the dream realm, and she is going to use Wish to cast plane shift.
Plane shifts. Understood.
But the flavor is she's basically going to take her sword and just tear open a piece, burrow through her realm real quick, and we're going to wherever Zivilna is.
As you strike with your blade to everyone else, it's very fast. But if we slow it down, Vivian pulls out the sword, and less like a cutting weapon and more like almost like an instrument for sort of winding and cutting and folding and turning all of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of threads of the weave, and sort of pulls on this one and snaps this one, tugs at this one, and pulls it just so. It is a very intricate, very precise movement that manages to unfold reality and sort of fold it up and around upon itself until you are all pulled, until a portion of the space between planes is torn open, folded around all of you, and flipped upon itself and exerted into the Feywild itself. You have made your return. Vivian, where would that return be? Palace of Heart's Desire?
Is that where Zybilna said that she? I felt like that's where she was going because she's not crazy about Celanese.
I don't suppose you would know where she is right now, considering time warps and changes in the progress of the war.
You know, I would go to
certainly somewhere.
I would go to the Palace of Heart's Desire, and the moment I got on the ground, I would send out a sending saying, Zybilna.
I am here.
Yeah, we're in the Palace of Heart's Desire. Nithroyal's not with us. There was some shit. Could you meet us?
That's where
very well.
Nithroyal plane shifted too.
Okay, so you're there.
To Zybilna.
So right. Is there anywhere in particular either of you would have plane shifted to in the Palace of Heart's Desire? Well, actually, plane shift isn't like that. Plane shift decide. You say like somewhere generally, and it'll put you wherever it wants to put you. So if that's the case, Jesus, why was the exposure all the way up? Holy shit. I am going to say that the party in large that Vivian used are going to appear in the circle that is usually used as a focal point for teleportation magic.
Where I would have, that's where she would have thought, honestly.
Beauty. And what you want is what you got. You all arrive there, but Nithroyal, you will arrive in the throne room, I would say. Your intentions sort of piercing through the power of the planes. And as you appear there, Nithroyal, we will start with you. There is no one there, unfortunately, just the empty throne that was Zybilna's. What would you do, if anything?
She drops her form. Turns back into Valerina White.
Okay.
She does this as she's weeping.
It's the only change like I've got. So you didn't even see like a little tear there. Look at
that. It's a sad bard.
Very sad bard.
And I think as she, morphs into a changeling and she's crying mid-transformation, she'll have a look on her face like she was expecting someone and they aren't there. And she'll just kind of look around, and I think she'll run up to her room.
Okay. You find your way to your room, go to your room, and spend some time there, being very sad. At which point we'll return to the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will enter the palace, presumably. And yeah, I'll just say as you're making your way towards the door, there will be a teleport that occurs before you. And very much so, Zybilna appears in all of her glory. You have not seen her in some time. And she will say, welcome back. I hope your journey was fruitful. Your silent spell, it is...
Vivian will step forward and say, she who was Tresselin, I'm sure remembers Zybilna, the mistress of this realm. Yes?
Yes, she, of course.
A number
I
of
see.
things have changed.
Apparently. Very well. Welcome, she who was once Trisuin, but apparently is not any longer.
I think we can, for now, for everyone's ease, we can stick with Trisselin. I may come up with something, or we may come up with something later.
Whatever you desire. Very well. I suspect your return suggests that you were successful in the obtaining of this ritual.
Yes. We got what we came for.
Well, very good. And it is good and fortunate timing that you have returned because, well, we've been holding the things together, but without all four harmonies, it makes it a little difficult. So, welcome back. It's time to get to work.
Ithuriel has sacrificed greatly. You should check in on her.
Very well, I will endeavor to check on her. Oh, hi, Mordenkainen. He goes, hello. And he like looks around, pointedly looks at Aligarthus, who's like they know each other. And he goes, Mistress of Prismere. She like rolls her eyes. He goes, very well. Perhaps it is pick wherever you wish within the palace. It is time we began conducting the creation of this ritual. It will be no small feat, and it will take time. We have a great deal of work ahead of us. So, tie up whatever loose ends you must tie up, for I intend to. And she'll enter the palace. And basically, his for all intents and purposes, said like, find a space in the palace, get to work. Yes, Tamlin.
Mordenkainen, we spent a great deal of time observing the physical location of the previous ritual. Will it be necessary to prepare a similar geographical location for the ritual? And a follow-up question. I honestly am not terribly familiar with how these things work, but we found that we do have, those of us who bear harmonies, do have some ability to bend the landscape to our will in the domains that apply to us. Is that something that could be helpful?
I have no doubt in my mind. I have heard of these harmonies, only in legend. Very interesting that you obtain them. I'd love to look them over later. But yes, they would be miraculously helpful in the binding of the land, and perhaps indeed ensuring. And then he begins to like wander off. Whoever would follow and start speaking about like stuff. And he was like, "Well, it's my curiosity if we should conduct a ritual in the Feywild, if we should perhaps try and form a demi-plane, and before the ritual from that demi-plane, it would take some time to create." And he starts to like go into the arcane rhetoric of like beginning to figure out the semantics of creating this ritual, which Trixie, you are certainly the most knowledgeable of at this time. Yeah. You have something to say?
No, she's just listening and observing at this point to anything she can.
Got
I
it.
suppose
So,
I suppose a more direct question would be, is there a way that we can help prepare at this point?
of course, there is no shortage amount of work to be done, and you all witnessed it for yourselves. We all must cumulatively begin the work together. So indeed, each and every one of you is going to essentially what I'm gonna pull back and frame for you what's about to happen. We're gonna do a pretty hefty time jump for the Feywild, where you guys take the time to build the ritual. You like the years and years and years of legwork have already been done by the previous attempt, and with the knowledge that Trisuin possesses and the observations you all made from the past timelines and the expertise of the many infinitely old arcane druidic and bardic divine casters on this plane at your beck and call, the various archmages and other wizards. It's going to dramatically reduce the time needed, but it's going to become like a major project that will take time to perform. So we will be doing a slight time jump in that regard. And through that time jump, we're going to tie up some loose ends because we are drawing close to the final culmination of this war. We're not going to go through several sessions of us like pretending to do arcane rhetoric and whatnot. So there will be a bit of a time jump, but that time jump is about to happen. So there will be events that occur during that, but in this current, like, okay, we're getting ready. We'll say Zabilna has opened up her personal laboratory to all of you to make it the center focus of the ritual or preparation for the ritual in a logistical manner. We'll begin to deal with some certain loose ends people like to tie up before the final battle. Just imagine there's that like little you've gotten to the end of the RPG before the final boss battle. It goes, this is the no turning back point. If you want any other quests in your quest book, now's the time to. That's kind of what's happening right now. So
ammo,
we're gonna go
health, weapons,
Yep,
all
ammo,
the things.
health, yep, weapons, exactly. So I'm going to start. Oh, yeah, Vivian.
I just wanted to remind you above the table that
Yes.
Vivian had put in a request to the Sphinx, requesting a meeting with Coralon.
Yes. Thank
It
you
may
for
or may
reminding
not happen. I'm sure that's a dice roll. I just wanted to throw that out as something that, if it happened before the summoning, that would have been not like it would be great if it happened after, but if it happened before, that would be even better.
I am going to say that no such meeting occurs. Gods do not simply appear upon request. Not unless, tremendous reasoning. You are more than welcome, though, to pray and commune with the god to all of your ability. That is certainly something you're capable of attempting. But anyway, we are going to hit up Villarina. Hope I said that right. So, Villarina, your door will open or be knocked upon. Courtesy will take place.
She will quickly wipe away all tears and means of showing that she was upset.
Understood. As a changeling, you are certainly able to change your appearance to hide any puffiness around the eyes and such.
Mm-hmm.
And you open your door, to which you do indeed see your matron Zabilna standing in the door. Myth Royale. You look a bit pale.
There is no Nithroel anymore.
And what was Nithroel?
Well, to tell you the truth, she was means to an end.
What end might that be?
Well, the first end was to convert you to a different side. Hey, come in.
She does.
To convert you to the Unsailly. But it seems you turned me, as it were. Then I suppose the next end was to be more like you.
And how is that going?
her face will kind of quiver. Not too good now. I'm sure you would have fought a lot more for the book, but I turned it over, and an Empyrean has it, and now I don't know if you'll even look in my direction after losing something so meaningful to you. And I don't know if I'll ever be a fraction of the power that you were and are. It's just so fucking frustrating to have something that isn't manufactured or crafted by either my mind or fake. And you gave me that something real. And I gave it away for a land that's barely even looked in my direction unless I gave them something to look at.
You're saying you tried to become. Who am I? Who is it that you're trying to become?
Well, you're Lady Zabilna. I mean...
You're trying to become Zabilna? Or were you trying to become Igwelf?
I don't really know.
When I was Igwelf, power was Earth. When I was Igwelf, I had great power under my thrall. Kingdoms rose and kingdoms fell at my whim. Demons marched to the sound of my voice. And I committed great destruction upon the land. But I am she no longer. I am Zabilna. So tell me, if you've been paying attention, where is strength? What do I see Zabilna see as strength? Where is their true power?
Granting wishes?
No. It is in kindness. It is in emotion. I used to believe these things paltry and weak. But I have built this place. I have tried to become better. You've seen the things that I have done. What I did to the elven girl in Shadowfell. The horrors I reaped upon her. As just a mere example of one of the many evils I've committed upon the land. But here in Prismia, I truly rule with an even hand. I have taken all of you in and rose you up. I have felt pain and anger in your presence and joy and bliss in your presence as well. I gave you the book because you are not me. I have already walked the path to decide that I should be here at this place where kindness and emotion is all that rules Prisma. But you are not me. So I gave you what you've always wanted. I gave you power. Yes, we need power to win this war, but also because power brings out who we really are. So it's up to you to decide who you really are. And if that book found its way into the hands of some celestial, it does royally piss me off. But
I fucking knew it.
oh, shut up.
Fuck.
I gave it to you because you wanted power. I was curious to see if power is indeed youth would make you whole. Let you see for yourself. If you want to be, if that's truly what you aspire, spend it on kindness. But you are not me. So decide who you want to be. And you should decide quickly. Because there is much work to be done. And there's a plane of existence to be saved.
You said. Can you say that last bit again?
There's a plane of existence to be saved.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said there's a plane of existence to be enslaved. My bad.
That sounds like a Freudian slip to me.
Oops.
I guess we know who you are.
Glad I caught that so soon. Oh, boy.
Oh boy. You are who you are, and you will grow into more in time. Power is what you seek to make you mighty. You have power. With or without the tome. Certainly more with the tome, but you are powerful as is.
Well, I reckon I didn't take all those notes for no reason.
I would certainly hope not. And you know what? Once this is all over, if you really want my tome back, maybe we'll just go get it. But just figure out who you are first. Who you want to become.
Well, see, that's the challenging bit, innit? Because as a changeling, you can kind of be anybody you want. But
So choose who you want to be, and then become her. If it's Sibylna, don't confuse her with Igor. Now, I'll give you some time to clean yourself up, but I have work to do. I hope you'll join us. Archmage.
yeah, I'll help. It's just quite tiring keeping one of those transmogrifications all, put together looking. Especially when you're trying to hide that you're sad, because then it's just a really, really taxing on the face muscles. But
I never pinned you for NPC English in your real voice.
yeah, I was a poor little girl.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
not anymore. And she'll head out. She's got work to do. Okay. Who else has things they'd like to do, like to say? If any. Yes, Tamlin.
Yeah, during this time when he's not specific, if there's a instance, and it sounds like there would be, it sounds like an extended period of time. If there's a chance when he might be able to slip away to try to request a private meeting with Titania.
You most certainly can. As I said, it will be a length of time. And just to tell you all what you'll be doing through this length of time, and I'll get into more specifics later on, but you'll be spending your time either helping with the creation of the ritual or being on the front lines and helping on the front lines. And which you do will be more dependent on your relevance to the creation of the ritual. So, for example, the artist formerly known as Nithroyal and the artist formerly known as Trisuin will probably be spending a lot of time working on the ritual, whereas maybe Tamlin and Brock might be on the front lines a little more often, as an example.
With
Yeah,
Jace.
and Jace, we're gonna get to Jace. Jace is around.
He's fighting
But
on the front.
yeah,
Now there's anarchy on the front. He's in a bunker. His troops have turned on him. He's using woodland creatures to defend himself.
You stop shooting him in the back.
Yeah.
We'll say at one point an audience is requested, and within the sort of political sort of ball galley in the Palace of Heart's Desire, Tamlin, the presence of Zabilna, or excuse me, the presence of Titania, Queen of the Fairies, is brought forth, and she, along with her retinue of various elven warriors and pixies, will come to meet you.
Oh, okay.
Do you bow before Titania?
Yes, but not a deep serving bow, more like
A respectful,
like an elderly respect kind of bow, acknowledging
yeah,
her position and their history, right?
right. From like yeah, I got you. Not a subservient bow, certainly. But you show, respect and bow to the Queen of the Summerlands and all the Sele court. And with her diamond wand in hand and her great butterfly wings, she'll say, "Tamlin, it is good to see you. I heard that there was an important meeting to be had."
Would it be all right if we spoke alone, privately?
Of course, of course. And you two may go to the sort of private meeting room, which has become something of a war room these days, but certainly a private meeting room. No veneer drops as you exit, and she will say, "To what do I owe the pleasure, Tammy?"
It's been an untellable amount of time that we've either been directly together or known each other, been in each other's lives, and that time may be coming to somewhat of an end, or at least another turning point. So I thought it would be nice to say a few parting words. I find myself in a somewhat vexing twist of fate, once again at the moment in the service of the Summer Court. It is not something that I begrudge, but rather something that I do most willingly and with a great deal of personal investment. You have easily been the most influential person in my entire life, regardless of how that came about and my feelings about it over the years. In fact, I've lived almost multiple different lives, with you maintaining essentially the same position in my life. This ritual may cost us all our lives. And if that's the case, so be it. I've done one final act in service of the Feywild and the Summer Court. There were decades when I knew that might be the case. If I survive, we've agreed that you would grant me a domain, you would return to me my wife and my child, and we will exist somewhat peacefully as neighbors in the Feywild. Regardless of which of those two outcomes comes to pass, I wanted you to know that regardless of whether or not it was against my will, I've learned an incredible amount from you, and it has been my pleasure to serve.
You honor me thus, Tamlin, and I would note few greater warriors who have be deserving of such a realm. I'd be interested, in fact, to see what you would create. I would be more than happy to make well upon our deal. So long, of course, as Tamlin, the Great Archfey, and whatever he becomes, honor us with his presence in the Sele Court.
I would have it no other way.
Very good.
No. Please forgive me for having brought you all this way, for my humble message, but now I must return to work.
As must I. And she will, sort of float as she goes out. And she smiles at you, and Titania, being an archfey of immense power, just the slightest smile fills you with warmth and power. And she sort of flutters away. And there is a quandary, Tim. You have bent your life on vengeance. Revenge against Titania. And you have really come to have overcome those trials with her and seemingly made amends. I guess my question for you, Tamlin, is your recompense with Titania one that is genuine or part of a greater vengeance that is planned? And if you don't want to answer, that's perfectly fine. If you want to message me privately, answer. You're muted.
No, I have an answer, and I don't see any reason not to share it. I think that he's starting to see the end, like his path of vengeance, or his quest for vengeance in his mind was always terminal, and he's approaching the terminating point. So I think at this point, as that appears to either be completely lost or within reach, that burning need for vengeance is starting to fade. He's getting to the point where he's about to make peace with his situation and to end his path of vengeance, at least his personal one. I do intend for his domain to be based on the idea of kind of like relentless, like oppressive heat, at like the I'm modeling it after like the dog days of summer. So like this inescapable, kind of pitiless, like scorching heat. So I don't know that I would say that's going to be gone from him altogether, but I think he's starting to come to terms with the end of his personal quest for vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
If that answers the question.
Well, then allow me to say that an arc-phase domain ought match them. And it seems to me indeed you are leaving behind that vengeance. So let me ask you this. As you have reconciled with Titanians and genuinely done so, is there another target, another in another creature that is a sole sort of central focus of your vengeance, one that fills you with such passion and unrelenting anger as what you describe from what your domain ought be, because your domain is you. It's a reflection of
Right.
you.
I think it would be anything. I think he sees himself kind of taking on the mantle of like a major protector of the Feywild. So kind of like the vengeance of the Feywild against anything that would threaten it, right? So currently the Iron Fey. But anything else that would not the conflicts that happen within the Feywild that are going, and all that drama that's going to go on forever, but anything that would threaten kind of the plane itself, or that the existence of that balance, right, of that ever shifting dynamic.
So a defender then.
I think so, yeah.
So in this moment, you are, and maybe take some time to contemplate this, Tamlin. You are an Oath of Vengeance paladin, and the subject of your ire has someone that you have reconciled with and have made peace with. Perhaps it is worth considering, and it's up to you, of course, it's your character, and you know your character better than I do.
Sure.
But perhaps in this moment, you have met the end of vengeance not with the death and destruction of your greatest foes, such as the Oath's demand, but perhaps you have become a different kind of paladin altogether. Perhaps in the end of this, you have become one of defense and mercy, perhaps. Perhaps in the very end, as you approach these final battles, there is another oath that Tamlin might suit better. He is indeed an individual who has great love and care, one who has persevered against all odds to find those they love and to protect this land. Perhaps he is more devoted than vengeful at this point, or perhaps he's one of glory, or one who respects the greater powers, the great governance of the crown. Maybe he is one who watches the balance of the lands and pushes back those that would invade it. Take some time. Perhaps in these following months, Tamlin, you consider what it means to be a paladin for you, and if there is an oath that more suits to who you've become.
Okay, I will do that.
And I will come back to you in a little while for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Trixie, you would be at some point when the work has come more closed. You'll be approached by Prince Elegarthus.
Yeah, I'll just say about the work. I think
Yeah.
at first they'll be super reluctant to share everything until she gets to a point that she realizes they're going to do this with or without her help, and then she'll start helping.
Understood. And then you
Because
start.
I feel like that just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you start, you're very reluctant, kind of uncertain to give information. You realize they're not going to stop, and then you start spilling forth lore and information that would have absolutely been missed along the way. That isn't to say that the observations made by the party aren't critical to its success, as you have the knowledge of people who thought they were going to be successful and failed, whereas they have the accounts of the aftermath and what truly happened. So your contributions are crucial, but you will be approached by Prince Elegarthus one of these nights, perhaps a week in, and he will say, good evening, Trixie, if it is correct to call you that.
It is fine.
I think we're all, including you, trying to understand what it is you've become. And I as well. I would be lying if I didn't say I have had great affection for you, Trixie. And that is to say that who you are now, who you've become, it is not something I detest. Indeed, I think it only has increased much who you are. I don't know your mind as well as I'd like to think I was becoming familiar with. But I would still be interested in knowing.
We would be fine with that. We don't even know what we are or who we will be. Things are starting to be less separated as time goes, so
I have no doubt it will take time to figure that all out. I can only imagine what it must be like.
yeah. And Trixie's obviously still here, and she's a bit sad with all of this, but it was necessary.
I would endeavor to see that she is made happy, and that you are given what you are worthy of. It was always my intention to create an elven kingdom, a new one to be proud of, one that is new, is trying things differently, one that is better than it's ever been. For there are wars and hubris and arrogance in the elves always. And it is within this new kingdom I'd see to it that the elves were made better, learn from their histories. And though I, perhaps in my own hubris, intended to lead it, and indeed still do, for I am royal blood and the right to create such a kingdom, I think, though I have right of blood, you have right of what you are. I will say that my time of usefulness here in the Feywild seems to have come to its conclusion, and I intend to return back to the mortal world and carve out a place where elves might make a new kingdom. I do not know what that new kingdom would be, but I would wish you a part of it, if not to help me lead it.
You sound very much like we were, but we will consider that.
That's all I ask. Regardless of my feelings for you, I suspect there is not a wiser, more capable, intelligent, knowledgeable, and beautiful elf in all the plains would be worthy of her own kingdom. A new kingdom.
Yes,
so
we are quite amazing now.
Yes, you are. So, that is to say that for now, this is goodbye. But it is my great hope that I will see you again one day, and perhaps we might speak and I be even somewhat worthy to understand what you would see this kingdom become, and that perhaps we build it together, if you'd have me.
Well, I'm sure we'll, if we don't die in this like we did the last time, we'll at least talk to you again.
I should be so lucky. And he will bow with a deep, honorable bow, and say, Anethorol, which is a very formal and respectful elven goodbye. And he will turn and leave your company. Surely not the most romantic of proposals, but perhaps one worthy of two people who have become strangers, perhaps, and have much to discuss if there is some future there that Trixie, or whatever Trixie's become, might see worthy. But the offer is made. Perhaps you might be a queen one day. Who knows? That is Alagarthus. Mordenkainen's hard at work. All the various Archfey either gather for war or for study of this most important project. There will surely be attempts of resilience and drama, but for you, such great status members, it will all be sort of paltry distractions that lesser warriors and mages will see to, that you are undisturbed. Zybilna works tirelessly, and Jay Silverlong, no doubt, appears to the party once more to work tirelessly as well. Is there anything for Jay Silverlong?
I
The great planewalker, Jay Silverlong.
mean, he's just been the general of Zybilna's forces out there, right?
Commander of the armies of spring.
Yeah. How did that go?
It went very well. The army of spring was certainly the most easiest to command given your rank and your harmony. It was the other factions that were much more difficult to maintain while the other three harmonies were away. Very difficult to keep these Archfey focused, but it did happen, and just long enough so that the other remaining members of the party could return and exert their dominance over the Feywild. So you're, as commander of the armies of spring, you and your armies were certainly the most effective.
Nice. Cool.
And by now you've earned great honors as like a great warlord of the Feywild at this point.
I think he still shows up the same way he did when he was just training men. He like undoes his top clasp, like he's just come home from a desk job, like he hasn't been fucking
He's got a
slaughtering.
5 o'clock shadow, and he's like,
It's like, oh, woo. How are you, my love?
yes, so Rhodos, the daughter of Poseidon and Aphrodite, appears and goes, oh, Jace, I wish you would take more time off. You're just working yourself to the bone, my love.
It's for the greater good, woman.
I know. You know
But
I support
you know I
right?
love you.
You know I love you too, right?
Come here.
and that's probably how it goes every night.
Yeah.
It's like, I imagine it's like, and together, men, we will forward into the fray, and then it's like, and like it's all war and stuff, and you go to like the door and go home. You're like,
Yeah. You
And the
gotta
genre-
separate work and your home life.
Yeah, and then the moment you open the door, your life becomes a soap opera where you're like, my love, for I am back. She's like, what's wrong, my dear? And he goes, we lost good men today. She goes, allow me to take me into your bosom, into my bosom, for comfort. You go, yes. And it just like, the tone changes are just
He was so
insane.
young.
He was so young. You bring some of your captains over and they're like, what the fuck? Like, who is this guy?
So anyway, men, we need to cut off the limbs of everyone that comes into this quadrant. You see, it will make us think that we are savages in this quadrant alone.
I see.
Yes.
As you command, I
Yes.
suppose. Yes.
Indeed.
We must show the enemy our mettle.
Very good. Very good. Yes, dear, they were so young.
Incredible. So yes, at some point, you guys see Jace back in town, and maybe catch up with him. And Rhodos is like his ultimate cheerleader as usual, and goes, "Hey everybody, so good to see you. Have you heard about Jace's great accomplishments on the front line? Did you know that he took down an entire battalion single-handedly?"
Now, dear, don't
The end
make it
listened to
seem
her
more
with
than it was.
rapt attention.
They
Every
say that
time
he
she wants to
killed
talk,
3
you
men
give
with
it
a
her
single
best
arrow.
Now, my darling. It was 2 men with half an arrow.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yes.
husband. I'll get it right in the future.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's
I don't
hard
hold
not
it
to.
against
It's
you.
hard not to embellish and. But it does. But it needs no embellishment, does it? Your great adventures and heroism.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, dear. Um, but speaking about adventures, how has everyone been doing? Trixie, you look not Trixie.
Why do we feel so much disdain for this one?
It is
Ah,
worth noting,
so
Trixie,
she
that
is there.
you're. Yeah, it is worth noting that, like, strangely, you feel it in all of your personalities.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah.
That's what I assumed. That's what I went with.
Ah, did something happen?
What have you done wrong? There's something wrong with you.
I have done nothing wrong. Ever in this life.
That's right, honey.
I'm just evil glaring at you now.
Well, I am not sure if you are a parasitic life form that has taken over the mindset of dear Triswin. If you are, you will have to be slain forthright. No one else is saying anything about it, so I'm starting to think that they want me to overreact. Which I
Seems
won't.
to not like you either. So
Oh, we have
there
a
must
long,
be a reason.
storied history. Yes.
We know the history.
Hmm?
We're just unsure why we also feel this way about you.
Oh,
Quite strongly.
that is tough to hear.
Is this evil spirits or something? I'm like looking at the rest of the group. You feel it too, don't you? Obviously. He's just
How-
radiating it.
How
This
soon
is-
after we got back is this happening?
A couple days, probably.
Okay, that's fair.
Tamlin,
Yeah.
Brock, tell Legion here that I am quite a good fellow.
He is quite a good fellow.
Yes, I didn't pay
He's
him
the
to say
same
that.
as he was.
I don't have money to pay him if I wanted to.
He's one of the founding members of the group and a hero of the Feywild.
You think
This
so?
is nonsense, darling. All the spoils we have taken, or you have taken from the enemies. Oh, sorry.
I donate all of the spoils of war.
To me? Is that why I have so many new jewels, gems?
Yes, dear. Can you wait for me in the bedroom?
Okay.
Whatever disdain you're feeling for Jace, seems to definitely have been echoed by Trixie, but I assure you that it doesn't resound with quite as strongly with the rest of the group.
You see him?
So you all did not trust Trixie's judgment then?
Oh,
Oh.
oh shit.
She seemed to have been, and never really was able to explain why. She seemed to have been particularly negatively focused on Jace.
Yes, we are aware.
I mean, if we're being quite honest, for the longest time, I thought Triswin was an enemy of mine, a devout opposite of a follower to me. Always trying to get the others to to band together against me.
I feel like you're just proving what I'm trying to say here.
That's actually not the case at all. Triss would never, although she made clear that she was not comfortable with Jace in really any way. She never asked the same of the rest of the group.
Well, it is nice to know that negative feelings were not pushed upon the other members.
Perhaps Triswin just wasn't confident enough to speak up, but we are.
Oh. Well, that is a delightful change. Everyone should have the right to speak up about their beliefs and how they feel so that communication can be had.
You hear the voice of Mordenkainen come from the laboratory saying, "Trixie, where have you gone? We must complete the song of the chorus of bards, and we must do it by the end of the day."
Chorus of bards? What the hells is going on in there? Is that
And I still
Mordenkainen?
have work to do on the runic array as well.
We'll just slowly turn around while staring at you still and then turn and walk away.
And as
I'll
you
take him.
leave, maybe Brock and Tamlin have a moment of like, as well.
Come on, Jace, I'll explain it.
Very good. Does anyone know where I can find a stiff drink? I'm talking rigor mortis.
Up here, darling, I brought the absinthe. I have a special place that you... Never mind, actually. That was too much. I pull that back. I redact that.
The proof is a little too much, so we're gonna have to mix it.
Oh my god.
He like has one of those like, like caveman SpongeBob.
Yeah.
He's like, looking at, all right, work, wife, work, wife.
I'll be your work wife.
Hold that thought, Tamlin.
Marital...
You'll still be in there in a few hours, right?
A few hours?
We'll be around for quite some time.
Okay, good. I lied about the
Jesus.
hours. It'll probably only be about 2 minutes.
Oh
Give
my
or take.
God.
Give or take 2 minutes.
30 seconds to take off the clothing, 30 seconds to put it on.
Yes. I am nothing if not an efficient man.
Jesus. Oh man. Let's take a break.
With high initiative.
With high initiative and many multi-attacks.
Oh shit.
All right.
Yeah,
I
so
need
he
a
goes
break.
up to
Let's
his
take
wife.
we'll take a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes and we'll
Yeah, Jace will be done way before that.
I sounds like it. We'll get back to it as soon as everyone's here. La 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 la.
I'm back.
The Song of Summoning. All right. We'll hop back to it as soon as we see a ballerina or Timlin. Ooh, this place is cool. Huh. Man. We'll get started in 2 or 3 minutes, or until everybody's here.
I will be right back.
Yeah, no problem. There it is, that motherfucker. Sorry. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's hop back to it. Let's hop back to screen share. Okay, so for all who are wonderful and present, questions. So, throughout the course of the ritual, some things will be made apparent. Mordenkainen will say, there are many capable wizards to perform this sundering. I hate that we're calling it that, but I guess it is what it is. So there's a couple of things we need to sort out. there are the 12 seats of, they were the high elven mages, but we will call them 12 great casters, blah, blah, blah. So, we should have those seats filled, these 12. Let us begin to think of what casters would suit best. We also need a 13th to perform the song. We should pick, of course, the 4 leaders of the various places. So obviously, Titania could be at 1 seat. Morgan Le Fay at another. You'll have to excuse me, my Feywild lore is not as adept as my Hell lore. Who are the leaders of the other courts, the Winter Court? Who's the current leader of the Winter Court? Does anybody know?
Above the table, we do know, but none of the players can probably think of it right now.
Yeah, no, I don't. It was whoever. It wasn't the Prince of Frost was the guy that we were. But there was
Skeleton King?
another.
No.
There was another prince that was like. Remember, we started like a little bit of a coup.
Yeah, it was the Snow Prince or the
Snow
Frost
Prince, maybe something like that.
Snow Prince.
Yeah, I believe it was the
Frost
because
Lord.
they're confused. Well, there was the Prince of Frost.
Prince of Frost was the one that we had all the problems with, but he wasn't the
Yeah.
leader of the.
No.
Yeah.
The Frost Lord was the leader of the armies.
Yeah, that's right. The Frost Lord ended up taking over in the end because you guys did a little coup against the Snow Queen, right? So the Frost Lord, or no, wait, the Snow Queen like came back. She like reemerged or whatever. So I think she's still sitting at the head. So it's still the Snow Queen.
She might be.
Okay. So he says the Snow Queen. All right. Excellent. So that's 4 seats filled, which means we need 8. We have 8 more seats. So we should always, of course, pick our most capable casters. I imagine Zabilna will sit at a seat. I imagine I will, of course, sit at a seat. I am Mordenkainen. All right. So now we're down to 6 seats. That's about half of them already covered.
How about the Unseelie Court?
Of course. I imagine there's some pretty good casters there if you can get in contact with them. Or you can bring them to the table, as it were.
What about those wearing the harmonies? Would those be important?
About that, I think it would be best served. I think all of you indeed serve a most crucial purpose to everything. The harmonies themselves, frankly, being more important than you, not to be rude, but I think I'll take an Arcfey caster over one of you any day of the week. And more importantly, I think you would all serve as a most important and proficient unit of protection for the actual casting. Though, of course, I admit there are some of you here who are some of the most proficient casters. Indeed, you, Ancient Elvenborg, and Nitroel, you two have a proficient understanding of the casting at hand. If you two wish to sit at the seat, but you would have to, of course, be aware you would have to sit at the seat the whole time. So if anything untoward were to happen, you by no means could rise from your seats, or the whole ritual would fail.
I see.
I think if we play our cards right, having the harmonies near toward the ritual site can act as conduits, and better yet, should anything happen, you might even be able to perhaps draw power from the ritual itself and turn it into your own power, or vice versa. And that way you can help support the ritual as needed, and be supported by the ritual as needed should negative elements come to disrupt.
It's different than what we did before, but what we did before didn't really work very well, so...
Yes, no, it didn't. And besides, we're doing things very differently this time. We are taking a chunk out of our plane and we're getting rid of it, as opposed to pulling it into where we are. We are pulling it away and taking it somewhere else. So kind of we had to reverse the entire ritual itself, actually. It would be like casting the first Sundering while being in a Vandal. Well, not being in a Vandal, but implementing the idea of an outer plane adds an entire extra layer of difficulty. In fact, trying to siphon off a portion of the Feywild is far easier than trying to siphon a portion out of the literal outer planes. So technically, well, this is going to be both easier and harder than the first.
Well, I suppose the question is, are we going to conduct this ritual in a demi-plane, or are we going to send the Iron Phase chunk of land to a demi-plane?
I think we had figured that it might be best if we conduct the ritual in the Feywild, because if we shunt them out, so to speak, they can create their own demiplane in the process. It would be a little bit more involved if we were to create a demiplane and have to attune the entire ritual to that demiplane, as opposed to simply casting them off to sea, if that makes sense.
That and those with the harmonies can help, but only if we're in the Feywild.
Of course, yes. In fact, those with the harmonies I would need, if not expect, to be very, very close to the ritual at all times. I think the presence of the harmonies will act as a centrifying focus for the latent elemental energies of the seasons of the Feywild are so conducive to.
Very well.
Let us remember what Archfey we have at our disposal. So there's the Skeleton King, leader of the Fall Court. Of course, we're going to have him. What about King Gulop the 13th? Is he an Archfey? I don't know what's his deal. Is he an Archfey or no? Okay, moving on. What about David Bowie? Should we have David Bowie?
Oh, the Goblin King. Yes, of course.
Wait, perhaps he should be the central singer.
That seems appropriate.
We should see if we could get David Bowie in on it.
It's probably very expensive, but I think it's worth it.
I think it's worth every penny.
Yeah, it'll be very hard. It'll be very hard. He's probably got a very full book, but we'll see if we can.
No, we'll make.
You all know David Bowie.
Yes.
Yes, John. Of course we do. No, sorry.
Oh,
Paul McCartney. No,
I love that David Bowie is the Goblin King.
Damn, we're throwing it back to session
That's
one,
a deep
David.
pull.
That is a deep pull.
That is the
All
far
right,
way back.
David Bowie, the Goblin King, will be our central singing focus for the ritual. Very cool of us. Very cool. Okay, let us continue down the line with individuals that you know and hold focus to.
Got a raised
There
hand,
is.
Ryan.
Oh, yes.
At some point, can Vivienne get a dream or two in?
Yes.
Because
Not
some of
right
it
now
could
because we're
potentially-
talking.
Some of
But
it.
you absolutely can.
Excellent. It would like to start with ascending to Tenesis.
Okay. Do we want to do that right now in this moment, or?
I'm going to. Above the table, I'm going to ask him to go have his dad intercede with Coralon to release my lady to help with the ritual, because if this whole thing goes ass end up, she's going to die anyway, so at least send the prisoner to the front line. You tell me.
Okay.
If worth
Gotcha. We will check that out. But we're going to stick in like a canonical sense in the moment and say that you guys are in a meeting with Mordenkainen and sorting out who the 13 primary casters shall be. Says, okay, what about the Duchess of Seasons? I don't think we know much about her. Okay. Lady of Aspersalen. Yes.
An old friend of ours, Riverwind.
Riverwind. Yes, perhaps. Is she? Is this a skilled archmage and caster?
He's more of an archer. I'm sure he knows some magics, but he is an archfey.
He's an archfey. Well, we need all the protections we can get. This is the most important ritual. Perhaps you might run a little protection
Is Jace here?
I imagine everybody's here.
Okay. Jace would say he's an alright archer. Not a whole lot of magical ability in that one. In fact, I would say he's one of the less powerful archmages.
Mordenkainen.
Mm.
Are you familiar with the Lady of the Lake?
Morgan Le
Lady
Fay,
of the
yes,
White
she's
Well.
the
Wait,
she's
Lady
the
of the
leader.
White Well. I'm so sorry. Lady of the White Well.
Oh, Lady of the White Well. No, I have no. Wait. Let me check. Let me roll the dice. No, I have no idea who that is.
Quick, short dossier. Daughter of Sehanine. Chained
Just-
to a well right now because Coralon. I can try to call in a favor maybe to get her in here since her domain's gonna blow up anyway if she can't defend it. That's just
Got
a
it.
dream away if you want me to, or not.
Sure, check it out. I'll also throw out there, Vivian, for your sake, that you can try and enlist these gods to do these things for you, but you might recount that she can be free of the well if she finds true love, and that is why she seeks a suitor so intensely.
Okay, I haven't had time to woo. I'm in the middle of a war here. I need to
I know.
win the war so I can woo the woman. All right? This is.
Yep, I get it.
Someone is in need of a suitor. I hear.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, by all means. Just continue.
This is a pandemic of an issue.
Above the table, I can't remember. Did we actually kill Zabilna's sister? Or is she still
Nope.
kicking around?
Yeah,
She's still around.
Kicking around.
She's
she
still-
is
We gotta
still
go
around.
see her. It's been
She's
so
out.
long.
She's
I
hiding
mean-
on some plane of existence.
I think we
Terror
know.
to
She
her.
might
No,
not
we
want
know.
the
We know
Feywild
she's
to
in
be
hell.
overrun. I don't know.
Let's see here. We have Hisram, Prince of Pipes.
Yeah, who do we have so far? I'm lost. I was trying to
I was just
What
gonna
follow.
go
about
down the
Titania?
line.
Isn't Titania a total power?
Yeah, I think we said her first.
Yeah. I was just gonna go down the line of all
Okay.
of the Archfey you've enlisted, just if that makes it easy, just from my board, if that makes it easier. So the two ladies, the seasons. What about the Lady of Fall as Mordecai? As I'm looking down my audition list. What about the Lady of Falling Leaves? Do we know her to be particularly magical? Do we care about her? Put a little pin in it. It's a possibility. All right, possible.
There's
That
a
kind of. Yes.
Garrett, the Oak Lord, right?
Scarrett the Oak Lord, is he a powerful mage?
I have no idea.
No idea.
We
As
have no
Mary will
idea.
say- We'll have Zabilna pipe in. She'll say, Riverwind is a skilled archer, but I don't think he's of the mastery of magic that we require for the ritual. And Scarrett is a skilled warlord who perhaps we will need as a commander for our troops to protect the ritual site from the Iron Fae. No doubt they'll try to make a counteroffensive.
All right. Who do we currently have?
We have, of course, the four leaders of the various seasonal courts. We have Titania, Morgan Le Fay, the Skeleton King, and the Snow Lord, or the Frost Lord. Oh, the Snow Queen. Right, the Snow Queen isn't dead, so the Snow Queen. And then myself and Mordenkainen. And then of course David Bowie will be the central caster. So we require 6 more to sit at the circle.
How
Is my
about
name up there?
Indeed, Nithroyal, you do not possess a harmony, so it would actually quite work well if you took a seat.
And
So
I
that's
shall
a-
sit.
Is that the character that you choose to fight the final, to have in the final situation? You're going to have Jay Silverlong, Choose your character.
Well, I think there's a place for both, right? Like Jace could be fighting, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Nithroel can sit in that seat.
Okay. Then Villarina White
Valerina
will be another
White.
caster. We do not discriminate. We only want the most powerful mages possible. It sounds like this Mountain Lord dude isn't good at magic, nor is the Ogre King. We've got the Snow
What
Queen
about-
and all of
Witch King?
the Witch King. Yes, possibly.
Or the Queen of Air and Darkness.
It's hard to pin that one down.
Can she sit
could-
in the seat?
Yeah, but she's awesome if we could.
She's like a rock, right? She's like a crystal or something. Put it in the chair.
Yeah, we can just put the crystal in the chair, and she's there. That's how that works.
Titania or Mordenkainen will say, she is a central part of the Feywild's balance. I think having her at the table as a element of gloaming is a important element to the ritual. If Titania's counterpart is her sister, the Queen of Air and Darkness, then perhaps we need the Queen of Air and Darkness sitting at the table. Zabilna will say, I will make the necessary arrangements. I will find a way to have it done. And with that, Queen of Air and Darkness is assured.
Speaking of potentially testy individuals we could add, what of the Witch of Fates?
As Zabilna sort of says, it's not a bad idea. Mordenkainen says, the original ritual did have a powerful diviner. Perhaps the Witch of Fates indeed should sit here. Didn't she start you all off with your ritual, your big prophecy about the seasons?
Yeah, the prophecy of seasons fall. She did.
Zabilna says, then perhaps that's an excellent choice. The Witch of Fates herself should sit at the table.
Zabilna, whatever
Yes?
happened to that warlock of yours? The one who recruited all of us in
Oh,
the
he
pumpkin
died.
patch. Oh, he's dead.
Yes, he
Madrid.
Yes, he fell victim to the age-old villain that is time. His heart gave out.
The
Does-
age-old villain of age. Yes, that one.
Yes, something that all mortals struggle with, unlike myself. But
Is this
yes,
Is this the kind of thing for which Horlick might be helpful?
I think Horlick would say, I'm not sitting in some circle with a bunch of bookie types while there's a war to be fought.
I'm a warrior, and that's it.
I'm a warrior. My name's Horlick, and I'm the avatar of the Stormlord. And that's all there is to it.
I serve where I am meant to be serving. Love that guy.
Love it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 casters. We need 3 more to sit at the circle. The Witch, Zabilna will say the Witch King is a capable warrior, but not of the great expertise of magic that we require. So I'm going to travel over to the Summerlands and see who we got over there who could be fun to play with.
Is Zabilna sitting in the one of the chairs? Okay.
Yeah.
You bet. You best believe.
So who do we have? The 4: Titania, Morgan, LeFay, the Skeleton King, Snow Queen, Valorina,
Valerina.
Valerina.
I'm never
Thank
gonna
you
get
kindly.
it. Zabilna, Mordenkainen, I'm assuming. Queen of Air and
Oh, there's-
Darkness, and Witch of Fate. Is that the 9 we have?
Yep.
I'm just trying to.
There's all kinds of unicorns and fairies over here. Somebody's got to be magical.
That's
I mean, they're all
true.
magical, but are they magical enough?
If we tie enough
imagine.
of them to one chair, it should be enough power.
Now I would say we should bring Inching Thurn, the Lord of unicorns and Pegasi, but and Zabilna will say, but the problem is he cannot sit in a chair because he's a fucking horse.
Surely he can figure it out, can he?
Someone,
Surely we
What?
can modify the chair to be a stable or a post.
One kind of says, no, we cannot modify the chair. These things are specific.
Ah!
Then we modify the horse.
Right.
Just take chops off, just take chunks off of it.
Yes, the horse must be modified.
I was thinking more of like a polymorph, but
Oh,
Can't we shapeshift to polymorph the unicorn?
I was gonna. I was thinking shave off the bits that don't fit. But maybe that's a bit too morbid.
I mean, it's kind of a big loss if dragons can turn into humans, but unicorns can't. That's sort of embarrassing.
Well,
I think there's no unicorns in here to fight back. Mordecai will say, yes. Well, how about Oberon or Hisrom? What about those two?
Maybe Hisrom.
Zabilna's like, keep Hisrom the fuck away from this ritual. I don't want him anywhere goddamn near it.
he did cause a majority of the problems that we originally faced.
No,
If we want to be
it's
quite
the
blunt.
flies count. Honestly, no.
That
Yeah,
and
starter.
we do have what's his name? Cowboy, fuck Titania and all
Wyatt.
them.
Oh, Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Oh, he died as well.
Oh,
Yeah, on the front lines. He will be missed.
he wasn't at my front lines, was he?
Not at yours, no. I say the front lines, actually, I mean that he was like a battery support, and there was a very unfortunate shell hit the building that he was in, and him and his husband and all his children died. It was very unfortunate.
I heard no means of this.
I don't know what to tell you. The report must have got mixed up somewhere.
Did you kill him?
No. I promised him protection. I would never do that.
Zabilna, look at me.
I didn't kill him, okay?
Well, you keep looking to the left. I
What?
can tell you're lying.
Why would I? What good would it be to? What would I get out of killing him? Kindness and emotions, everything. Can we talk about something else?
How about
Whatever.
the Duchess of Desire? Is she
The Duchess of
magical?
Desire.
Powerful magic?
And she's very magical, from what I hear. She does magical things to people.
Oh, does she?
Let's see here. We're really starting to scratch the bottom of the barrel. The Pinecone twins.
They're technically archmages. It's true. It's true. Okay, so we need 3 more. Oberon. Let's get Oberon in on it.
Yeah.
All right.
If he doesn't want to be on the front lines, that is.
Well, he's a wicked power.
Well,
he's the Green Lord. He's responsible as far as druids go. He would be simply the most powerful druid that must exist in the Feywild. He should surely sit in the circle. If he wants to fight, then he can fight his wife when he's done.
Ancient
We need 2
Elven
more.
Borg. Are you gonna be sitting in on the ritual?
No, because I'm carrying one of the harmonies, so I assume
Oh,
I'm out.
well, where exactly that? Where do the harmonies sit?
That's what I'm still trying to figure out. I imagine they would have to sit somewhere within the runic relay outside of they could not move past the runic relay outside the actual tower where the various bards and sorcerers would be performing their magics. Or
So
perhaps
it needs
outside.
to be in the tower.
Not necessarily. I can make certain modifications to ensure things could happen. I was thinking more of creating a second runic relay that ties the power of the various artifacts you possess to the tower themselves via proximity, which would allow you to channel power from the ritual into yourselves or vice versa.
And then Valerina will pipe up.
Sure.
That actually, what the fuck? That actually.
Oh god, she's having a seizure. We need 3
The-
archmages now. We need 3 archmages now. This is great.
Oh fuck, we need another. That actually makes sense because, thinking back to when the ritual happened, it almost seemed like something happened that they couldn't control, and the main singer, tried to force more power into the gate, and then that just came back down the tower into elemental forces of some kind. And then when it came back up, it had to go somewhere, so it just exploded the entire tower.
We'll
So
have to, we'll have
maybe
to talk to David Bowie and make sure that he
Indeed.
knows that if he
Indeed.
really goes for a falsetto in that moment, it's not going to work out.
No, it'll be catastrophic.
Right.
But the four harmonies could act as a sort of either focusing lens to where she doesn't, or David Bowie doesn't need to project his power to such a full extent that it'll get just rebounded up, or as a buffer, so that all that power that comes back down can get channeled back into the four harmonies, as it were.
Your harmonies could act as magical regulators for the actual ritual, where it helps ensure stabilization of the ritual should things seem to go awry. You could
Precisely.
either pull excess energy into yourselves or pour it back in when required. It's genius.
And
Well.
if they align themselves with the appropriate elements, then they'd be in the right spot.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what's all I have at this moment.
Well, then that's what I will be sure to incorporate that effective immediately. But we do still need 2 more casters to sit in the circle. Zabilna says, I mean, if we're looking for miraculously powerful, magically wielding Archfey, there is my mother.
I'm not enthusiastic. My character's not enthusiastic
you like
about
that
it, but
ancient
I
elven
am.
bowl, do you?
Ballerina's like, I guess we need her.
And Vivian will step up. It's not like I don't cast spells.
You do cast
Oh,
spells.
right, Vivian.
Been so silent.
You do cast magic, but are you sure you would wish to be in the ritual? I mean, we might need you for defensive measures.
I'm simply putting myself forward if it's necessary. Truthfully, I'm better on defense. But if you need
In
some
defense,
seat,
we do need an extra seat filled. Zabilna says, perhaps indeed it is time that you attempted to come to some finality with your patron.
yeah,
If we do need to fill that last seat, maybe it is time that you saw to that.
yeah. All right, what time of day is it? Above the table. Just let me look up in the sky. Does it seem
Oh, it's like 3 at night. You guys are all on your like 100th cup of coffee. You've been working all day. This is like, sure, it's that time.
Oh, it's like 3 in the morning. It's like
yeah,
past bedtime.
You guys are burning the midnight oil trying to get this thing made before the Iron Fae overwhelm your forces.
Jace is like sitting in his chair, just like with sunglasses on and his hand in his pants, just like leaning back, sitting straight up, pulling a Thor.
You nod off. That's crazy.
No, I'm here.
There is Skellig.
Skellig. Oh, Skellig, the prince of leprechauns and the court jester of the Sele court. Bulna goes, if we must. Morning kind of says, as long as he do the job.
Did I see a Prince of Twilight in there? He's the Prince of Twilight.
There's a Prince of Twilight? Where do you see him?
Right behind Skellig.
Oh, yeah, the Prince of
Reminds me
Twilight.
about- Yeah, he's dead too.
No, it's actually a good point. The Prince of Twilight's an Unsele Archfey who is probably the most skilled illusionist in all the Feywild.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. Second. Well,
It's high.
the most powerful illusionist in the Archfey illusionist. Not. Yeah, there. We'll leave it at that.
It's too much to be repaired at this point.
I don't know which one to choose.
Well, if I do recall the ritual, well, many of these casters have a certain variety of skill. I'm not too worried about the specifics of classes and subclasses and areas of expertise so much. So, Prince of Twilight can absolutely be a candidate.
Yep. I think with Zybilna's mum and the Prince of Twilight, that rounds out the list, does it not?
It does round out the list. That's right. Good catch. This one rather goes to well quite neatly. We have someone for illusion. We have someone for divination. Oberon functions as a good druid. Queen of Air and Darkness is necromancy. These all rather align quite well.
I would like to note, Ballerina says.
Right.
I have to distinguish because Jace's voice and her voice are kind of similar.
Actually,
and
that's a
sometimes
good
I do a
point.
terrible impression. So
Right.
Just put your hood up if you're Jace, and put it down if.
Yeah.
Okay. Whilst looking at the different schools of magic of all the 13, I noticed that there was one that was an astronomer of sorts. Mordenkainen, Zybilna, anyone. Have you heard of another school of magic?
They all shake their heads.
Astronomy?
An astronomy wizard? No, I've never.
Or an
heard of
astrologist? Something?
No, I've never. I mean, I know of them. I don't know of them as as a mage.
Would I be able to explain what that had been?
You would be the sole person who is able to explain what what that is. In fact,
Teach me.
And well, the issue is that you guys are all level 20. You can't take levels in that class, but it is a class that has been lost to time. But certainly you can share that knowledge, and yeah, you get to explain that essentially it is a divine caster. It is a divination style caster because there's arcane, there's divine, and then there's primal magics. This is a divine caster who uses the power of like the celestials and draws that forth from the constellations, and is essentially like kind of like a hyped up diviner, like oracle, but uses it not purely for the powers of divination, but also channels it through divine magics and miracles and such. So they have many functions. They have their healing, their divination, but they also have the ability to sort of like change fate on the battlefield. So they're buff debuff casters.
They sound cool as fuck. Like when you brought them up in the ritual, I was like, dude, you know when we were talking about Dragon Age?
Yeah.
And I was telling you about the little elven war mage thing?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I fucking pictured.
That's this for you.
That's this for me.
They're so cool. If it's what I'm
God.
thinking it is, it's so cool.
I'm picturing like them being able to use like different like, I don't know, planets. Like obviously it wouldn't be Earth, Mars, Jupiter, you know, all those, but whatever in their solar system, and just fucking calling down Mars Wrath or some shit. I don't know.
Oh,
Jupiter meteor swarm. I don't know.
It's like that where like they think of like there's like the star druid, and there's the divination wizard, and then there's the moon cleric, and you kind of combine certain elements of those things where they use omens and like divination powers to like indeed like in a utility sense like use divine magics, but they can also use those powers in like a different way, and then there's subclasses of diviner that Trixie would explain. Some are based on healing, some are based on divination, but they're not like a very like attack based. Like they do have certain offensive abilities, but they're more built for prophecy and then like debuff and buff by altering the fates of people on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's the next character for sure.
Yeah. Oh god, I gotta make a new class.
Yeah. Oh
I've
no.
got.
Oh, shit.
I'm in it now. Oops. Yeah, cool. I think Mordecai will say, well, there is the issue that the Prince of Twilight is a powerful illusionist, but we already have Valerina, who is an Archmage illusionist. Kind of makes the Prince of Twilight somewhat redundant. And we do need someone who is proficient and aligned with the magic of the stars. He kind of like does one of these at Vivian. Like, oh, it would be really great if someone could hand us an Archmage who has certain connections to, like, I don't know, the moon or something. That'd be really helpful.
Something I'm gonna go take a nap. Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night.
She just leaves the room, gonna go find her own space and go to sleep with a crown.
Okay.
Obviously.
With a
Ballerina
frown.
watches you leave, but very slyly.
No, but your face is give. Okay, cool. Let's deal with that. Let's go deal with the realm of slumber. Vivienne, you find yourself in the realm of slumber. You have opened its power to your patroness, and she meets you there, as she always does, and has been for the last little while. In your dreams, she always seems to appear to you at night. And she says, she'll of course curtsy, as is her inclination to be somewhat courtly, and she'll say, Vivienne, how fares preparations for your ritual?
Apparently they're going reasonably well. We require an Archmage who potentially knows something of constellations or celestial magic, or has some sort of connection to the moon. Know any Archfey who would meet that criteria? She smiles and kind of gets close.
Yeah. She goes,
No, because here's the thing. I would love to spend years courting you. Really, I would. You deserve so much attention to detail. And she kind of looks her over and believe me when I tell you, I'm looking forward to paying attention to all of the details. Also, if your realm goes under, it's all gone. I adore you. This is not romantic, and I am terribly sorry, but you want to go save the world with me? And she'll get really close and be like, about 2 millimeters from her face, and it's like, is she gonna kiss me or not?
make a persuasion check. Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that. But it's 28.
28. You see that there's somewhat like amusement in her eyes, but she does take a step or two back, and she says, "If this is not romantic, then make it so."
And in a wave of her hand, everything changes from the lake where they usually are to Vivienne's space, which is weird. So Vivienne is a creature of nightmares, right? She was her father picked her up, basically saying, no, you're not going to chain my daughter. And so she was kind of raised in dreams and nightmares until she was old enough to protect herself. So the space that what she presents to the world and what she keeps hidden is very, very different. So if you think of how you might think of really aberrant creatures, where if you weren't an Archfey, the space would just probably drive you insane because nothing makes sense. This is my world. And she'll unfurl the wings, which are nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am. This is who's 40.
She sort of looks, and then you do see in her eyes there is like a holy fuck. But she will sort of right her face, and then she'll step forward to the like aberrant, nothing monstrousness of your face, and within your own realm, she sort of like puts a hand into all that tentacle nightmare and sort of like reforms the face of Vivian with the sort of moving of her hand. She says, "No, it's not. We are not our faces. We are what we choose to be. And I have not known you to be a nightmare. You have been a respite for me. Or do you disagree?"
That is what I choose.
And that is what you are.
And she'll shift everything else to Arborea.
Yeah.
And so like her nice little kind of, her space is actually kind of cave-like. But like in the
Right.
coziest of ways. You know, if the actuality of her mind is just absolute chaos, what she tries to structure herself with is if a cave is a hug, and maybe there's light coming from no place because it's her space, but it's warm, and things are comfortable, but they're natural. So as you go to sit down, it just kind of hugs itself to you, and there's like the sound of water in the background.
And you see she kind of like looks around and sort of faintly smiles.
Home.
Yes. I hope to see it one day. My own eyes.
That would be great.
I'm curious, do you offer dreams? Is that who you are?
No.
Figments in the night? No.
No. That's just what I do. And she kind of does this. Not who I am. If who I am is my choices, then who I am breed a celestial and got rid of the demon book that was helping us to free your realm. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
But what?
That was unwise, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. It was just eating at me.
You would not be the first Archfey who has fallen prey to emotion. I guarantee you it will not be the last time.
No, probably not. Run away with me. I can give you one night, but we can go wherever you want.
I do not look for something frivolous. I do want to see the plains. I do want to see the worlds. I do want to experience all these things, but it has become perhaps my gift in a way, but also my curse. But I cannot leave this well without true love, without full, earnest, love.
Woman, what do you want? Do I need to get arrows over here? Seriously. And she just, and Vivian just laughs. Like, I've got him on speed dial. Do I need to get Aphrodite?
No.
Is this what you need of me? Because I will do whatever you want at this point. I adore you. I do. I'm absolutely smitten with you. This is not the best. Like, I would like to spend many eternities showing you because honestly, I'm as immortal as you are. We both got the demigod thing going.
Maybe an insight check.
Insight check. Great. God.
The game is love is not so directly
Fucking
communicated.
Okay, no, but this is actually a whole lot better. That was a 32.
32. She is a woman she is an Archfey who has been bound to one place. Her entire experience of the world has been through dreams in the stars and hopes in her nights, and bound to this one small place. She wants the real world. And she's also a very sort of formal, courtly woman. You expect what she wants is something solid in commitment.
Oh God, you mean like marriage? Okay. I mean, all right. Well, wasn't really what I was expecting. And I just figured she'd want to wait until after the war, like have some time, see the world.
Well, this isn't her this isn't you reading her mind. This is you.
No. This is my entire framework has been she's gonna want something else. But if I've just had this thing, we'll just kind of pull a star out of the sky and form a ring out of it. And just let it kind of float.
She'll go, what is this?
It's a ring.
You're proposing.
I am wondering who you want to say the vows, though. Not that I'm just curious, actually. Probably not my dad.
My vows.
That's wedding usually requires a ceremony, requires vows, requires a god, right?
Right.
Generally speaking.
She's like, you see that she is like, there is this moment of like this is something that she's wanted for literally like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, is someone willing enough to do that. In all of the courting and all of the nonsense she's gone through various warlocks, perhaps no one's dared to actually ask the question.
Really? Was it that simple? Really? Was it that simple? Jesus. Okay.
Are you like on a knee and everything?
Absolutely.
Say it! Say it! Say the words!
Do I actually get to know your name, or am I going to ask you as my lady? I'm great either way. It's just sometimes we like to do our names.
Let me see if she has
She's actually going to get down on one knee and wink at her. I mean, it's not like you don't know enough.
Let's see if she has a real name. Because if she does, I don't know it. No, she says to you, I think I did, but I've not heard it said and have forgotten it. I have no name other than my title.
Well, then my lady can marry me.
She will look at you and she'll smile. And she will say, yes. Yes, perhaps I will.
Perhaps.
And she will
She'll stand up and bring an eyebrow up.
she'll smile and she will put a hand out and you will put the ring on her hand. And she will say, so long as there is a ring waiting for me when I wake up.
Okay. Can I have 24 hours?
You may have more than 24 hours.
Thank you.
And she will, and then she'll kind of like just be a little like feeling herself a little bit.
So I'm actually gonna, since I can do this thing, like, all right, well, we'll see if this will work. Gonna use the sword and open a hole in the domain and try to pull her back into the real realm.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm
Oh, you're trying to
bringing
pull
my
her
wife
dream
home with me.
conscious-
Is what I mean.
You're trying to pull her dream consciousness out of
Oh, no.
sleep and into the real world.
I'm trying to pull her. Ooh, can I do that? Can I just physically pull her to me?
No.
Can I use? I can't.
This is a dream. This
Shit.
is a dream.
Oh.
Like her physical body is at the White Well.
All right. Fine. I'll see you in the morning. I'll go fetch her.
Yep. And yep. And if you like arrive at the actual lake, the White Well, she will appear to you. And as you put the genuine ring that's okay, you obtain it, on her finger, there will be a flash and a beam of moonlight from the sky that will sort of hit the well and expunge it of the curse that is placed by a god so powerful that it would bind even this woman this Archfey, who had such power to her that she empowered Titania way so very long ago. And with that, she's free from the well, and she'll just like fall into your arms, and you guys will be engaged to be married at some point. And she will say, I know this isn't the moment, and I understand that perhaps there is some necessity to what we have done, but because of you, I am free. And because of you, I am happy. And because of you, so much more. I love you, Vivian.
Just kiss her. Just period. I'm gonna kiss her. She wants to slap me.
You tip her and you kiss her, and she just
At this point,
melts.
I will take the slap.
Yeah, she will. No, there's no slap. She is just very happy, and she will tell you, we'll get married after the Feywild isn't crumbling around us, and she is happy to. And you maybe spend a day with her as she like takes her first steps away from the well, and she kind of like looks back at this place she's been bound to for centuries, and looks ahead and will go explore, and she will appear before, and many, especially the Sele court, will honor her as she walks through. Titania herself will bow in the presence of the Lady of the White Well, and you will have secured your astrology mage here. Hell yeah.
See what I can.
Fantastic. Go ahead and take inspiration, Vivian, for getting hitched. Incredible. So with that, what proceeds is this. All of these various people, through either persuasions or dominations from the actual harmonies, are brought together to sit at this circle with an understanding that if this ritual doesn't work, there's a great chance that they will all die. So let me just go back to that board here, because there will need to be something said. Where is it? There it is. There we go. We'll go back now. Okay. The ritual proceeds. All are gathered to bring about this thing we're doing. Zabilna will sort of speak to the many, and some 100 various Fae will be assembled, and a great host more to defend it. You all undergo these same, as you saw in the visions, these rites of ceremony, these baths and various like cleansings of crystals and incenses and whatnot. And in the end, someone ought say something to this assembled host of individuals. I think Zabilna would be happy to do so if required. She has stood before armies before, but she does look to all of you. If there would be one who would speak to this. Ooh, before I get to that, I almost forgot. Tamlin. Very importantly, I want to circle back to you, my friend. Over this long time of thinking and wondering upon your own place as a paladin, would there be a thought for another oath, a way that's more suited to Tamlin, or does he still hold vengeance close?
I think, well, okay, so this is kind of the way that I see it. I think that, as I mentioned before, like I think he sees this as kind of like the culmination of his vengeance path. But I would say that once he feels that's been completed, I'm thinking probably what he really wanted all this time was to be able to kind of retire and live in peace and have brought some sort of a, I don't know, a peaceful evolution to this, to all this violence and vulgarness. So I think probably Oath of Redemption maybe ends up fitting Tamlin at some point. I don't know if that's right now, like in the midst of a war, but I would say that's probably the direction that he's heading in, when he feels like the vengeance has had its day.
Got it. So, and yeah, and that's your choice if you think Tamlin would wait or wish to do that now on the cusp of the finality of everything.
Yeah, I think in my mind the vengeance kind of holds through this like this final act, because the idea behind his personal vengeance was that he would in some way kind of be able to in an acknowledged way best Titania. And so I think that this comes as a part of that he, at the end they'll both know that he was, one of the primary saviors like of the Feywild. He's taken over control of the summer court for, temporarily or whatever. I think that probably continues through finishing through with this for lack of a better word, campaign. I think that probably he probably settles into an easier, not easier, but more peaceful and tranquil life after this final thing has been completed.
All right. So as these times go on, I think it becomes clear to a lot of people that the fire inside of Tamlin is starting to die down and become something else and is being forged into something new. And that intensity, that sort of very quiet intensity that he's carried is abating. There is a certain point, Tamlin, where you are summoned to Selenice as Titania wishes to speak with you.
Okay.
And as you are there, very close to the cusp of the finality of all of the rituals, Titania will say to you, Tamlin, she'll say, in the privacy of that realm, she will say, you, Tamlin, have had every reason to hold unending amnesty. And you have done something most surprising, which I have not seen in my court in a long time, which is, I don't really remember what it's called. I think it starts with an F. I don't know. Never mind. But the point is you are unique. I've not known many in this way, and I do intend to honor it. I do intend to honor your requests. And so I thought I'd start by making good on some of those here and now, as we go to face the finality of our struggle. And she'll smile at you, and she'll say, and she'll leave her central courtroom. She'll sort of like flutter to the doors and sort of like look back and smile. And in this like wave of smile, and like Titania's wicked powerful. Like she's powerful beyond all recognition. She can level a city with a frown, and she can create a harvest with a smile. And then she turns back to you and gives you sort of like this innocent smile. You never know what's going to come, but a smile from Titania is a good thing. And you hear something you've not heard in a long time. You hear a voice behind you. You hear a voice say, Papa?
Yeah.
And as you turn around to look at her throne, you are going to see Janet and Teo. Sort of standing near the throne as if they were waiting for you the whole time. You'd simply not seen them. Titania has vanished from the room to give you your privacy, but your child sort of kind of like runs over to you, excited to see you, and hasn't seen you in many, many years, and has grown in your absence, has grown a great deal. Has probably grown like 2 feet since last you saw them, and will like run over, like arms outstretched.
Yeah, I think at first he's unsure, being ever a little skeptical of the Feywild. He's unsure whether or not it's a trick or an illusion of some sort. So he'll go through that, kind of, is it really you? Type of thing, and grab his son up in one arm and his wife in the other, and just kind of have that. It's been so long. We're together again. We didn't know if we were going to be sort of moment.
Yeah. So you probably scoop up him into your arms, and you're like almost like feeling him for illusion. He kind of like laughs as you do so,
Right.
and he's not like a little kid anymore. He's not quite a man either yet, but he's grown a great deal. And then Janet sort of like similarly like kind of approaches with a sort of uncertainty of you're real, and you kind of see each other, and as you look each other in the eye, like it's real, and she runs into the embrace, and you guys grab onto each other and have this like moment of immense relief as you are reunited finally with your wife and child after all this time.
Worth noting, however, that he would probably look, I mean, not him as a human being, but definitely has a different look and aura to him than Janet would have previously known. He's in his darker days right now. So and he was previously a knight of the summer court. So probably a drastic difference, but good to see them.
Yeah, and she's been through a trial of her own. But and she cups your face, and she like looks into your eyes, and there's like almost a silent conversation that's as if to say like oh, like I can tell you've been through much and you've changed, and she kind of like looks and sees the weariness from your face and the adventure, and then she just kind of smiles brightly, and kisses you, and and your kid's like, "Ew," um, and just like you guys all hold each other and have a moment, and maybe spend like an hour or two just like talking,
Yeah.
and maybe Janet can hear a little bit of your adventures through the lens of like telling your son fantastical good tales, and but she will understand the severity behind them all, and but you were reunited with her, and Titania seemingly has given them leave to travel with you where you would will, and you might take them to the Palace of Heart's Desire if that was your care, for sanctuary or somewhere else even.
I
Um,
think probably he would leave them here in Titania's court for safety.
okay, fair enough, fair enough. Titania would swear to you their protection, so long as she is able. And once again, sort of says, she says, I am not one for, I don't know, admitting I was wrong. Very unsightly for the queen. But I do and have always thought you special, Tamlin. And I hope that specialness may remain still in Selenis from time to time. So, they will remain here as long as you please, and they will have every hospitality.
And this time he will bow with a little bit more um, thanks and humility.
Understood.
You have my greatest thanks. I will do my best to ensure that we all live to celebrate after this.
As shall I. And she smiles, and um, again, everything blooms in wonder. And I think there's some, conversations with you and Janet, and she asks about you going to war, and she basically says, well, you always were a paladin, and I understand what that means. You have knightly obligations and such. So swear to me, good night, that all of this hasn't been for nothing. You will come back to me. You'll come back to me when this is over.
I swear. I swear that once this is finished, you and I and Teo have our own land once again, our own faithful neighbors. We'll live in peace, watch the sun rise and the sunset, listen to the wind travel over the fields, and I'll hang up my armor and my sword so that we can be at home.
She'll put a hand on your chest and say, I don't ask you to hang up your sword nor your armor. If that is what you are, then that is what you are. But I do want us to be a family. After all of this, I want us to be a family. So promise me that you will not die. You will not leave me.
I will not.
Okay. Now let us make love. And
oh yeah. It's been a while. Women weaken legs. Not until after the war.
So you have a night with your wife before, the RPG before the final battle, love scene, whatever, with your wife after all this time. And it's nice, and you have something. You have peace, but you also have something to come back for. Last but not least, Brock. Before we end the session, I would wish to speak with you, my friend, if you're available. Oh, Brock Meadowbrook. All right, we'll catch up with Brock when he returns.
Sorry,
Oh, there he
here.
is. Yeah, no problem. At some point, Zabilna will want to catch up with you, Brock. And she will say, How are you, Brock? I have had two most faithful advisors who have been with me since I've been released from time. And one of you two, in a way, has been a little lost. How are you?
So since we've gotten back, since Trixie's changed, I think I have started to undergo a change as well over the past couple months. My fur has started to become whiter as the winter harmony is starting to sink its claws deeper into me, and I'm getting colder. So
Mm.
so I'll tell her. I think we're all changing just a little bit, but I'm still
Yes.
here. I still stand beside you, and I'm prepared to do what it takes to make sure this ritual goes off.
You can never tell anyone this, of course. Because, you know, a matron or whatever is supposed to love all of their children. But, Brock, you always had such a loyalty, such a kindness. You've always had honor. And I think you weren't always scared. You weren't afraid of your emotions. And I see the toll that this has all taken on you. I'm very sorry for that. But that is all to say, Brock, that you are Prismir in many ways. You are who you are is what I have always wished for it to become, because you have such kindness. I hope you have not lost that.
I still have kindness.
Okay. I would ask you something, a favor, if you will, Brock.
Anything you need.
When this is over, if we all come out of this alive, find somewhere for the winter harmony to be sealed away, kept safe, whatever you wish to do with it. Just simply put it somewhere that is not on your person. Be free of it. And then, once you've done that, I would wish you to become the Lord of Prismir. I would wish for you to become its king. For I have... It is a place that I am very proud to have built. But it is a place I can dwell no longer. I came to hide from my past here. And that's been fucked up. Grisetst knows I'm here. Mordenkainen knows I'm here. Baba Yaga knows I'm here. Everyone is very much aware of who Sibilna is now, or anyone that I've been trying to get away with, which means more will follow soon after. I fear once this war is done, it'll be time for me to find somewhere else to dwell, become someone new again. But I would not leave Prismir in lesser hands than yours.
It would be the greatest honor. And what I ask of you is don't be a stranger wherever you go and whoever you become. You'll always be welcome here.
I can make that deal. Very well. I will return and see how my realm fares. Though I think that there is no doubt that it will be better served under your care than mine. I may have come to learn of the strength of kindness, but I don't think that's a lesson you ever had to learn. I think that's something you've always had. It's something ingrained into who you are. And I'll be very excited to see what you make of this place and how you will rule it.
Thank you.
And she will do something that she really hasn't done before with you, Brock. She'll initiate a little hug with you. She'll very much less sort of matron and servant and more sort of it's sort of more of like a friendly, respecting way. She will indeed you're very cold, but she will come in and she'll give you like a friendly hug.
I'll hug her back. I'll bury my face in her shoulder, and maybe she feels it warm up just a little bit.
She'll pull back from, once that's satisfied, she'll pull back from that and smile and say, "It has been an honor to have been saved by you so many times, my friend."
And many times you have saved me.
And maybe she'll conclude that with a little like private drink between you two, sort of celebrating your impending your impending kingdom. And she'll tell you that the arrangements have been made, and when you are ready, you may take up the mantle. And Zabilna she'll hang around to see you crowned before she goes. And she will tell the rest of them. She probably says like, I have to decide if I'm going to tell the rest of them that I am leaving, more simply to, take a halfling goodbye and just disappear. I don't know, but I will be around and ensure your coronation at the very least.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, if there's no more loose ends, you'll find yourself on the promised day. All of these archfey and powerful mages will be assembled outside of your tower, made of marble and gilded golden bark, lined with silver tree bark from Selenice, and it is a thing of great elven power, much more so than what was created, aligned and attuned perfectly and tested over a great deal of time, brought to you guys chop down the tree in the center of the Feywild and erect a mountain over it instead. No, I'm kidding. But I think actually quite fittingly, I think the tower might actually be built around the grandfather tree, the first tree of the Feywild, and various druidic components will sort of elevate it into a higher mountain in the sky. And it would be built around the grandfather tree, and he's sort of enclosed into it. And we'll say
Probably
he's
not
central.
happy about that.
No, he's like, no, stop, please. And Oberon's like, it's okay. This is for the greater good. We'll knock it down as soon as we're done. And he'll like, but the grandfather tree is an essential part of the Feywild. His roots span here and there and far. So with that, Titania, Morgan Le Fay, the Skeleton King, the Snow Queen, Zabilna, Mordenkainen, Velerina, Queen of Air and Darkness, Witch of Fates, Oberon, Baba Yaga, and the Lady of the White Well find their way to the circle at the very top. David Bowie appears and says something like, "The power is the babe," or something like that, and sort of like with his cane, sort of like walks up to the top, and everyone's like, the Goblin King walks forward. Um, you know, various goblins are like, sort of like praying to the Goblin King. And the ritual has been assembled. I think Zybilna will, as everyone's assembling, preparing to perform this ritual, and the defenses, scare it, the various, like the treants and the centaurs and the various armies essentially surround this ritual site for miles and just ensure its strength. The Iron Fae encroach very much on this ritual, and it is made apparent that they know what is happening. This has been far too important a ritual that they have not taken notice. And the tower itself is a prominent one, and they do not know that your side doesn't think that they actually know what you're about to do, but they know it is something of great importance, and they intend to try and stop it at all costs. But you gather and rally your greatest forces and armies to prepare to hold them off. And as this is happening, and these Archfey are assembled, and the greatest Archmages, that does include the Archfey twin, or the Archmage twins and Selenice, and protections more locally from indeed Riverwind and Orchid. This place is defended as it possibly can be. It's been surrounded by armies, and the ritual is about to take place. I think Zybilna would put a hand on your shoulder, Brock, and say, "Your allies are great, and they all will hold their purpose in the days to come. But it is, I think, the duty of the new king to inspire what should happen next. Will you speak words?"
Yes. Yes, I will.
Very well.
And I'll turn to all of these various armies that have been recruited from across every corner of the Feywild. And I'll say, now is the time. This is it. This is the final battle we fight. Many of you may have differences you've set aside for a common enemy. And I thank you all for doing this. One more fight, one more battle, and we are done. So leave it all out on the battlefield. Leave no regrets. And victory will be ours. As today is the first day of a new Feywild. Today is our Independence Day.
Goated mans. Goated mans.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Make me a performance check. And have advantage, because that's
Can you
just...
yell freedom at the end as well?
All right. Got a 14.
14, you have advantage. Did you roll with advantage?
I did roll with advantage.
14. They're all like, yeah! Yeah! They're all like, you're like, today's our day for a new Feywild. They're like, yeah! Banging shields, whatever. You're like, this is our Independence Day! And they're like, sure, yeah, okay, yeah! They don't know what that is exactly, but they all like were banging their shields, and I think you lost them a little around the end there, but like, you still got it. You still got them there, and they're like, yeah! They're all screaming and applauding. And in this moment, Brock Meadowbrook, I am going to say that you obtain the Inspiring Leader feat.
Ooh.
And in this great historical Feywild war speech, everyone is going to gain temporary hit points. What is your charisma modifier?
It is +1.
Okay. Everyone's going to get 21 temporary hit points. Points. All right. With that, the ritual will begin to proceed. The various armies go marching off to hold the line against the impending attacks of the Iron Phase. They're going to throw everything they've got at this. But your armies are mighty, they are coordinated, and you find this giant tower surrounded by the greatest casters of the Feywild, and certainly the most powerful Archfey in all the Feywild, sit at its very top, and one of the greatest performers of all time will sit at the central focus. And it goes, "We can be heroes just for one day." And everyone is like, just going forward. He has a whole chorus behind him. And when we come back for our next session, we're going to see what final trial awaits you at the end of this. And if indeed, after all of your work, have you been successful in the creation of this ritual? That is where we will end. We've got a big session coming up next week, and we're going to let Horlick know because this is the big one.
It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I'm stopping.
There was so
I'm-
much like emotional
Well,
stuff
you know-
going on, and I'm like, I can't react like I normally would.
Yeah.
Wow, these people really care about one another.
Just like I used to care.
I used to care like that.
Is this what love is?
Uh,
What
We'll
is
diagnose
love?
further.
Baby, don't hurt me.
They care. They just care about so many different things that it's hard to, you know.
Everyone they care
Yeah.
about is dead.
I'd really hate to
And-
die 100 times again.
Jesus. And hey, it is in the famous words of I don't remember her name, but the chick who played Galadriel, who is just the best fucking actor.
Isn't that Kate Blanchett?
Kate Blanchett?
Kate Blanchett, that's right.
Yeah.
Elves are of such, and especially with the age that Trixie has obtained, they neither laugh nor cry. They're like such intense joy and such intense sorrow has passed, for they have seen the ages of the world, and they have known hardship and they have known joy aplenty, so much so that it's hard to feel intensely ever again. And that is kind of the sorrow of immortality. Life starts to lose its touch after a while.
You voted all, and you lost Trixie. No, I'm just kidding.
And gained 100 archmages. I was gonna say, like, I was debating giving you some like wizard stuff, but like technically speaking, the purpose of 1 to 20 is like
Yeah.
the top like amount of power a single mortal individual can take unto themselves. Is the sort of canonical idea.
Yeah, and I'm like, you were already talking about before a couple sessions ago that like when the elves die, the memories are in the new elves. So I'm like wondering if it's kind of like that. So if like over time some of these memories will start to fade, like not all of them, and also I assume some of Trixie's memories will start to fade because there's only room for so many.
It's true. I think Trixie's would be most fresh because that's like your real life.
That's what I was
experience.
thinking as we're playing. Like maybe after like 10 years, it's more one mind,
Yeah.
and it's like, a bit more
Yeah.
Trixie than everything else, but there's definitely stuff of Trixie that gets lost.